I've been there. Those sideways turds hurt the most.
We are live. With that, welcome to Omnibroslive. I am OmniDog, and I am an Omnibro, and I have other Omnibros with me tonight. The one talking about the potty, that was Gabe Infinity Watch. Gabe, how's it going?
Sorry,
I'm doing good, Jeff.
I am OmniDog, and I
Son
am
of a bitch.
Omnibro. Somebody needs to mute.
It was me.
I thought that was me. I was like, shoot, can I just open YouTube?
That person that was echoing, that is Ryleymo, the Omnibus Collector.
What's up?
And we also have Omar from Near Mint Condition.
How's it going, guys?
And we are, oh, it's going great. Was that a rhetorical question, or did you really want to know?
I already know how you're doing. I was asking the room. Really.
I'm tired.
We were going to talk about the best of, but we first have a couple of other topics that we wanted to cover. One of them, Riley's super pumped on the Thanos book.
Yes, and I'm upset because none of y'all have read it. I'm especially upset that Gabe hasn't read it yet because I know he would be super excited. And because as he was just telling us before we went live, he got to hang out with Donny Cates at Torpedo Comics, who's the new writer on the series. But
yeah, sorry about that. I've been working in a warehouse where we don't have any new comics yet.
Yeah, but you're finding a lot of cool old stuff.
Yeah, you sure are.
Yeah, that should be the episode. All the cool shit. Fine.
Boxes and boxes and boxes of out-of-print books. Yeah.
We can talk about whatever you want. We can do best of 2 weeks from now if you'd rather talk about something else.
Well, I was on. Okay, I'm just gonna jump right into this one. Ooh, my dog just had a slip. I was on my lunch and I was reading some of the last week's stuff, and I read the new issue of Thanos by Donny Cates, like I was saying, and I was just blown the fuck away with how good it was. Like, the Thanos series had been good with Jeff Lemire leading into this, and I knew that I was expecting greatness from Donny Cates as soon as he came in, because what I've read from him in the past has been A+. But, like, I did not expect for it to be this incredible. It was just this perfect reintroduction to the character, because if you haven't read what Jeff Lemire was doing, Thanos was kind of a little depowered. He was bringing him back up to being how he was again. And now he's back to being the biggest cosmic badass there is. And he goes to the Chitauri homeworld and just wrecks shop, and they're all fucking scared of him because he's Thanos. And you just get immediately this idea of, like, yeah, he's extremely powerful and extremely just scary to any other life form in the universe. And then it just completely goes left field from there. And I'm not going to spoil it. I want everyone to pick it up, but it's like this perfect fusion of, if you like Rick Remender, and if you like Jason Aaron, if you like Jonathan Hickman, and if you like Al Ewing, specifically the way he wrote on Royals and Inhumans, or not Inhumans, Royals and what's the other series he did? Ultimates. Then you will absolutely love this shit. Because it's like the perfect combination of that, like, attention for high concept, like, cosmic stuff, while at the same time, like, the love for the 90s and just ridiculous action and characters like that. It was just insane. Like, one issue in, and I'm already like, wow, this is like climbed to the top of my Marvel stack of books. I absolutely freaking adored what I read today. And I cannot wait. I have his issues of Doctor Strange lined up next. I'm going to jump into that really soon. He's fantastic. If you haven't read anything from him before, I highly recommend checking him out. I think he's going to be the next big thing at Marvel.
Now, which issue did you read? His first issue, or did a new issue just come out of Thanos?
His first issue is Unless another issue just came out, that was all I had was his first issue.
Okay.
Of
Yeah, we sold out of those pretty quick because of the signing. But I'm gonna try and find one because I really want to pick that book up. And I really like the lenticular cover they did for it. But yeah, I really want to check it out because, like I was saying earlier, he's a really cool guy. Like he did a really great signing at the store, and we were talking, and he was basically saying Thanos is pretty easy to write up because all you had to do is just make him a complete badass. And we got into a whole conversation of how Thanos isn't looked upon as fierce and mighty as he is because everybody just thinks he's nobody without the gauntlet. And the things that we've been seeing lately, especially with Jeff Lemire and Donny Cates, is that's not the case. You know, he's a super badass with or without the gauntlet.
Right.
And poor Donny Cates, man, I have to give it up to the guy. He's following Jeff Lemire on Thanos. Yeah. He's also following Jason Aaron on Doctor Strange. I mean, that's got to be a lot of pressure on the guy for that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, he's following the steps of some big writers currently, and I think that that's how you make a name for yourself. It's like when they say when you go to prison, you gotta jump in and beat up the biggest badass that you find, and that's how you create a name for yourself.
That's what I did when I went to prison. I kicked the shit out of the area.
That's what I do when I go visit preschools.
I was gonna say, Riley, you came ready to talk about the shit. You dressed all dapper and stuff, so people could take you seriously about Thanos.
I just came off from work. I had to leave late, so I didn't have time to undress. And it's cold here today in Austin. It's snowing right now. Like it's the craziest shit. It just at the end of the day, like 5:50. Just started snowing, and it's actually sticking. So it's not just like, oh, there's just some. It's like my lawn is completely white right now. It's crazy. But yeah. So also about Austin, Donny Cates lives here. So
you're gonna go stalk him.
Yeah, exactly what I'm gonna.
You're gonna become really good friends.
Tell him Torpedo said, "What's up?"
Is that your nickname in the sack, Torpedo? Oh, Torpedo Comics. Shit, I forgot that's where you worked. My bad.
I was about to say, you know what you call me in the sack.
Torpedo.
He works at
Torpedo. That's an awesome name in the sack. Torpedo. Maybe. Anyway, I didn't derail you, Riley. Carry on with your Thanos.
That's all I really got right now, guys. And I gotta go because my dogs are insane and my wife needs help in the kitchen. And I just wanted to stop in and say, hey, I'm gonna be in New York all week next week, so I'm not likely to be able to hop on again. It's been a crazy month. I just haven't had any time. But you guys have whatever. If you do best of 2017, y'all have a good show, I guess. And read Thanos, please.
Well, it's good to talk to you for 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's good to know you're still alive and everything. And you're
it's
okay.
Good to see you're still reading comic books. That's cool.
I'm still here. Comics are still good. All right, guys. Well, I'll talk to y'all later.
Okay, Rye.
All right, man. Have a good one, man.
Thanos.
We miss you.
I read Thanos.
Good night. I miss all of y'all too. Bye.
Bye, man.
Did we want to talk best of 2017, or did we want to talk about something else?
What did you guys want to talk about? Best of 2017. I came ready for that.
About Riley being a dick.
Riley does he have male dogs? I was just gonna tell him to, just jerk those dogs off. They'll calm down.
Oh man. There goes our sponsor for this show.
Oh man, make sure you never eat anything Omar makes.
I didn't say I did it. That's what I tell other people to do. All right, so yeah, I'm ready for whatever you guys want to talk about. You want to talk about the Marvel possible Disney merge or acquisition, or you want to talk about best of 2017?
Why don't we take 5 minutes and talk about the possible movie merger? I don't have much to say on it, but I think you guys do, so I'm happy to listen to what you have to say and why it might impact, how it might impact what we watch. That's your cue to start talking about it.
Okay, so rumors are going around that Marvel and I'm sorry, Disney and Fox are talking again, with hopefully some kind of outcome where either they do something like Spider-Man: Homecoming, or they just buy back the characters of Marvel, the Marvel characters that Fox owns.
So they're talking about buying the rights back from the characters?
We don't know.
Okay.
I mean, I'm sure this is probably one of the most like secretive meetings going on right now.
It's not that secret.
Well, it's not secret that we all know, but I'm sure whatever's going on behind closed doors, you know, whatever they're trading, whatever they're talking about, is probably really secret.
Well,
until somebody hacks their email.
The information we're getting out is, because I'm taking this kind of serious. This whole announcement or merger or buyout is really stressing me out and giving me anxiety.
What?
You're
really?
Kidding? Why?
Not really. No, but
I'm taking the same thing I just told Riley to do to his dogs. You'll be fine.
Go spank the monkey.
Because of the idea of the Fantastic Four making it not only back into the comics soon, but you know, hopefully Marvel gets the movie rights back and we can have a proper reboot, a proper reboot of Fantastic Four in the films. So what it is apparently Fox is looking to offload all of their assets besides Fox News, because nobody wants that, and sports. So what that is entailing is that whoever buys this out, which apparently is going to be Marvel and Disney, is they're going to get all the Fox studio properties, their library, their movie rights, and everything like that. So all in all, they're basically going. Marvel and DC is basically going to inherit back their original properties. So that's interesting to think of, because
can't wait for Warner Brothers to step in and buy out the Fox characters just to screw everybody else up. That's like, oh yeah, you hate our Justice League movie? Watch what we do to your Deadpool.
Well, it's interesting because I mean, it's not just the X-Men and the Fantastic Four coming back, and that's gonna be great. And that's really collector's tip right now. Go out and buy a Fantastic Four #1 and an X-Men #1, and watch that thing explode in price in the next year.
I'm gonna get some change out of my couch to.
Yeah, go for it, man. Go sell a kidney or sell some of those porno statues you got or something.
None of these. Okay, there's a couple statues that do take their clothes off, but most of them don't.
Anything could be a porno statue if we work hard enough at it.
All right, but I know where you're going with your
my
point.
understanding, I don't care about Star Wars. You guys know that, but my understanding is Fox owns the original printing or the original produced version of Star Wars.
Yeah,
So
you mean the
never seen
untouched
one come out. Yeah, the untouched one that's owned by Fox. So if Disney gets that back, there's a chance that people can, you know, finally be able to see that original cut again. That's been hidden and disappeared. And I think there's one DVD set that came out like in the late 90s.
No, it was a laser disc.
Was it laser disc? I swear there was like a DVD or a VHS set that has the
the VHS set, yeah,
okay.
was the remastered edition, like before it went remastered. It was just the fixing of the sounds and the visuals a little bit.
Yeah,
it was touched up for the laser disc, and that laser disc is what people have made into the bootleg DVDs that have been circulating the internet for well over 12, 13 years.
Yeah, so I'm just want to see the Fantastic Four come back. I want to see my Fantastic Four #1 explode in price. I know it's gonna. And it's maybe we'll get, you know, X-Men back and we can see like an Avengers versus X-Men, or just one of the most epic movies ever, which will be able to have every single Marvel character on screen at once. And just everybody, and you go to that theater and it's going to be just moist. It's going to be just the most humid movie theater ever.
I do have a serious. Okay, so I'm excited about that because I like the aspect of like having Kang the Conqueror back. You have him as an Avengers villain because he was my favorite Avengers villain, especially when he was written by Kurt Busiek. My question is, you have to think about it like a business though. Like, is it that much profitable to spend so much money buying these characters back? Will more people actually go see let's say Avengers 5, if the X-Men and Fantastic Four are in it, or have we already capped that audience? Like anybody that's going to go see Avengers is already going to go see Avengers, right? I mean, is there anybody that's an X-Men fan that refuses to go see Avengers? I don't think so, right? So my question is it profitable for them to buy those, other than the fact that they can release a freaking movie every month, a superhero movie every month, and then the market's just going to get oversaturated with that stuff?
Well, I think it's not just about the movies. I think it's also like everything else that's kind of wrapped around the movies, DVD sales, action figure sales, because they haven't made an action figure for the X-Men besides the current release Legend stuff since they didn't have the movie rights anymore. There hasn't been an X-Men figure set in like 10, 12 years.
Yeah.
So there's going to be that. And it's not, they're not just buying back their characters. They're getting everything that Fox has. I don't know if that includes The Simpsons, but that's a possibility. As well as, I don't know what Fox owns. Are they the ones that own like Aliens and Predator too? I'm not sure.
They do. They own Aliens, and I think they do own Predator. But okay, I'm all for it. You know, I like to have all my characters in one studio. That would be great.
Yeah. And do you think they're going to recast the X-Men? Like, do you think they're going to get a different Wolverine? Do you think they can? Because I mean, I'm sure it's all about contracts. I don't know if Hugh Jackman's under contract somewhere else and he can't go over to Marvel if he wanted to. But do you think they would recast Hugh Jackman or get a different actor to play Wolverine?
You know, I think they would. You would almost have to. I mean, eventually, maybe they can get another movie out of him, another 2. Mm-hmm. I'm sure the guy's in his 50s, right? I mean, it's a lot of work to work out for 3 hours to look like Wolverine. I'm sure he wants like some. Can I have just like a desk job where I win an Oscar for just reciting a bunch of dialogue? I don't. Or he likes to sing, right? He likes being in musicals. But he did. I'm sure you could talk Hugh Jackman into coming back to fight the Hulk or something like that. I mean, how could you not? Who would not want to play that role? To have that big on fight, like big screen fight.
What about the rest of the X-Men? You think they're going to change up Deadpool, or you think? I'm in the mindset that they would leave Deadpool alone. I don't think there's really a reason to like fuck around with that at all.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be Ryan Reynolds, and I'm sure it's gonna be the way Ryan Reynolds wants it to be.
Yeah, I think we should take a minute and allay people's concerns that just because Disney would end up with Deadpool does not mean it's not going to be an R-rated Deadpool. Disney has other studios that produce like Quentin Tarantino's movies, Miramax, and they can put it under another banner. It's just because Disney owns the rights to a character doesn't mean they're going to PG everything.
No, I agree. I think that's discrimination to think that Disney can only do like G and PG films.
Yeah, they have several different studios that put out all kinds of R-rated stuff. And I just think it's a specious argument to say just because Disney's buying it, Deadpool's going to be PG. That's not really thinking it through.
I think maybe people's concern is more like Wolverine, like because most people enjoyed Logan.
Yeah, I loved Logan, and I think that I don't think they're
want
gonna...
another violent Wolverine movie or Logan movie, whatever they end up calling it.
But
well, it's not going to be Disney Studios presents Logan. It's going to be somebody else, like Miramax or somebody else. Well, I don't know about Miramax now, but some other studio not affiliated with Harvey Weinstein will put it out, and it'll be R-rated and great. I just don't see the connection.
Well, that's the thing. I don't think Deadpool and Logan was successful just because it was R-rated, just because it was violent and had bad words. Absolutely. It's because they were true to the characters and there were good storylines. I mean,
right.
That mentality of, oh, it's this small, tiny aspect of the movie that's successful, so let's just duplicate that and duplicate that. That's the kind of mentality that movie studios have sometimes. And that's why so many of these movie theaters are doing these franchise or their own universes, and they're falling apart. So they think, well, Marvel created a cinematic universe, and connected movies is what's making people see these movies and spend all their money on merchandise and T-shirts. And then you have DC, who did Justice League right out the gate after like just a couple of movies and didn't do very well at the box office. It's the same reason you have Universal, who is doing their Universal Monsters universe, and that fizzled. That's apparently off the books now.
I couldn't even finish that movie. What was it, The Mummy?
The Mummy. That wasn't even the first one. I think there was like a Dracula movie that came out not too long ago. That was really like the first.
The one with Eddie Murphy?
No, that's Blackula.
That was not Blackula.
Blackula.
But that's the thing. It's not. I mean, even if there were PG-13 Wolverine movies, I think they could still do it well. But I just don't think that automatically means they're going to pull the switch and it's going to be, all cutesy and fun again. They can still do these kinds of films. That has nothing to do with Disney being the biggest family-owned, family-related movie studio out there.
Yeah, I agree. Good. Okay. So we said what we have to say about that, unless you have something else to say about that.
Not until we know for sure what's going to happen next week.
Yeah, it's all speculation at this point.
I don't want to put my hopes up and get, blue balled.
Yeah, be like prom all over again.
Prom.
All right. So what are we talking about, Jess? What's the next topic?
Let's talk about the best comics of 2017. Since
best collections or best comic books?
Well, I think you can do whatever you want. I only collect collected editions, so I'll be doing collected editions. But if you want to talk about the best floppies to come out, that's fine with me. Riley obviously thought the new Thanos by Donny Cates was one of the best books of 2017. It doesn't matter to me. Whatever you guys feel like talking about, as long as it's comics related, sure.
All right.
I'm going to talk about how delicious this white chili is tonight that I'm eating.
What is that? Did you grill it?
I actually would stop by a taco place in town on my way home and grab like 15 tacos.
Just for you?
No. For me, most of it's for me. I've been working at this warehouse all week, and it's a killer workout, and I'm just craving calories. Like, I just want to stuff everything in my face right now. I burnt so much calories, I guess.
And think omnibuses could weigh so much.
Geez, when you're moving like fucking, a 5,000 square foot warehouse or however big that place is, then yeah. It's crazy.
All right, Jess, why don't you kick it off? What's your favorite DC book?
DC.
Let's do DC.
Okay.
2017 DC. What was your favorite DC?
I'll give you my runners up, and then I'll get right to the.
You know what's going to be funny? It's when your list is the same as mine. And I'm going to be
real quick. Are we talking about just books that came out this year that was physically released in 2017, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to look at my list.
Yeah, that's fine. The first one, thank you. I just got a compliment on my hat. Thank you. It's very old.
Yeah, John P's in the room when you get compliments.
Yeah, because I haven't sent him his books yet. I still have leverage on him. First book that I loved in 2017, runner-up, is Super Sons. This was a great book, which it was a lot of lighthearted family fun.
I see a deluxe hardcover in your future.
Yes. Oh yeah, they announced that, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We talked about that on Monday.
Right. Oh yeah, that's right. I wasn't the one that was drunk. I should be remembering.
Oh, that was this guy.
Next runner-up, I had to choose between Batman and Detective, and I chose the deluxe of Batman. I liked all the stories. I liked the Gotham and Gotham Girl stories, but I love the I Am Bane stories, or I Am Suicide, rather. I think it's wait, what was it?
I Am Suicide.
I Am Suicide, yeah, that was the
I Am
Bane.
Suicide is in the first trade. Or, I'm
Okay.
sorry, first hardcover.
What was the?
I Am Bane will be in the second collection.
Okay. Yeah, it was when they.
The first part was the Gotham dude and Gotham girl.
Right.
Then Monster Man, which you went out and bought the hardcover. And,
That is correct.
And then I Am Suicide.
I Am Suicide. Yeah, part 1 and 2 and maybe 3.
And that was an awesome storyline. I agree with you.
Yeah, I loved it. I loved it a lot because I love anything with Catwoman in it. And this book has Catwoman, and I didn't even know who Paunch and Judy were, or whoever they are. They were new. What's his name?
Paunch.
Paunch.
Mary
That's when he gets a little older and gains weight. These guys.
Paunch from Happy Days?
I was thinking of Paunch from
Chips?
Chips, yeah.
7 Mary 3. Was he 7 Mary 3 or 7 Mary 4? I can't remember. Anyway, it's a good book too. Absolutely.
And then I loved Superwoman, which is getting canceled, so I'm only getting one more trade of that. And one book which I will definitely trade up on hardcover wise because I loved it so much. Flintstones 1 and 2 came out this year. This is highly recommended. This is a guaranteed book. I guarantee you anybody that buys this book will like it. It is such sharp writing. So it is such a great sarcastic take on modern society that I just think it's brilliant. So everybody run out and get the Flintstones if you haven't already. It has little, if anything, to do with the cartoon you've seen. It is a complete satire on modern society that is brilliant. And my winner is, because I love her so much and my whole life is dedicated to her, that would be Harley Quinn, as a surprise to no one. The omnibus that came out of her New 52 stuff. I loved everything about this book. I triple dipped on it, and I think it's the most fun you can have in DC is reading the Harley Meister. I love this book.
Man, okay, I didn't have any runners up, so I just grabbed one book to represent my love of DC. But I'm loving DC Rebirth much as everybody else, with the exception of Justice League of America. Oh, I'm sorry.
Hey, no, jerk.
Regular Justice League. I have not read Justice League of America. Regular Justice League is just ass. It's really bad. But I was I knew, like, I was reading a lot of the singles, so I knew I would really like Detective when it was collected and Batman. But the one book I kind of passed up on, and I'm not really sure why, but I ended up completely loving was Superman.
Yep.
I absolutely love this book, and I can't say enough about it. It is the perfect mix of 90s love, like a throwback to the 90s, a love letter to Darwin Cook, family values. It's got some Seven Soldiers in here. I'm not going to spoil much. Oh, man. I can't say enough about this book. And the art is top-notch. You've got, Doug Mankey is the main guy, and Patrick Gleason. And then you have one of the guys that was drawn at Marvel. Was it Jorge Jimenez, I think was his name? I love that guy's artwork. Kind of reminds me of Oliver Copiel. Yeah, Jorge Jimenez. I love that dude's art. This guy.
I think you're mispronouncing it. I think it's Georgie Jimenez.
Okay. No. But yeah, this was
that book is a great book. You're totally right, Omar.
I love this book. If I were to recommend a Superman book to anybody, it would be this one. I love this book. I was pleasantly surprised when it came out that I read it in one sitting. So looking forward to volume 2, which was already been announced.
I fully agree with you. That was the better. I liked action, but I think Superman was the best.
Yeah,
book
I love Dan Jurgens' action, but the Superman was just such a surprise to me.
Yeah. And how about you there, Gabe? Did you read any DC comics this year?
I sure did. So I got a mouthful of tacos.
That's all right. I was just scarfing my sandwich down.
So, while you were talking, I've grabbed a couple things off my shelf that really stood out to me from when I read them and as I was flipping through them and things like that. First, I want to give a shout out to Nightfall Volume 2, just to kind of show it off to Jess a little bit. This is definitely
baby hands, Batman.
Jess is such a hater. This is great. I love it.
You're poking your finger right in my eye, dude.
Yep. That's what we do. That's what we do. I just want to give this book a shout out as one of my favorites for 2017. I mean, not just the story alone, but just the quality of the book. The wraparound cover is really nice. Fuck the haters. I like the cover. And just the fact that this is the first time that the Search storyline was reprinted.
Yep.
So it wasn't in the bigger phone book volumes that came out, like, what was that, like 6-7 years ago or whatever. Just want to give this book a little bit of love, as
nice.
well as my newest purchase.
Oh,
this thing's a bitch to lift.
Look at that.
Jack Kirby's Fourth World Omnibus. I just got this yesterday. I did do a video on my channel. Plug. This is probably my favorite omnibus of the year to really come out so far, just based on design and quality and all the kind of build out kind of situations. It's my favorite. Beautiful wraparound cover. It's massively thick. Love that book.
We could probably have a whole show that we talked about that book.
Yeah, I'm down. We could do that. I know.
Once we all get it.
I know Gio wanted us to do something about Fourth World too. I saw that earlier today.
Oh yeah, he wants to do a little documentary on it.
Yep. And then I want to follow up Jess's sentiments and comments as well for Harley Quinn. Woo-hoo. Beautiful story, just a load. This is the new 52 Harley Quinn. It's all around just good fun and humor and women empowerment and animal rights and just really fun situations in this book here as well. And also, I think it's beautifully constructed. It's a really great wraparound cover. Even though it's very minimal, it's just pink and says Harley Quinn around it, but it's just really eye popping. Batgirl Stephanie Brown, Volume 1 trade paperback.
I'm glad they're doing those. I have the original ones.
This is my surprise book of the year, really. I did not think we would ever see anything from pre-New 52, especially like not an underground hit, but kind of a quiet cult following hit like Batgirl Stephanie Brown was. I never thought we would see any kind of collected editions of this coming out whatsoever, and I'm really glad I did, because this is a beautiful book, wonderful story. It's Brian Q. Miller doing the writing, and art by Lee Garrett through most of it, and really great stuff, really great art germ covers and things like that. This is just an underground hit, just a super miss on DC's part that they took so long to produce these kind of collected editions.
I remember there was a rumor that Dan Didio completely hated Stephanie Brown. Because remember when she was Robin, like, she died and they never gave her like her own glass case or anything like that. And then she was written out of continuity. And then they brought her back. And then, yeah, she took on the mantle of Batgirl. And those trade paperbacks went out of print like that. So I'm glad that they brought them back. And the second one has already been announced. So
yeah, no, I'm glad they're continuing. And the single issues for that series are like like that middle part run, like anything after like issue like 5 or so is like $20 an issue or something outrageous like that. So there's a lot of popularity and a lot of people looking for that series. So
Clark Nado's asking, how come none of you guys are talking about the new 52, Batman and Robin? I can answer why I'm not, because I thought this was the best stuff, so I really literally just grabbed one of my books. I didn't know we could grab 4 or 5. Otherwise, I would have, because I do love that book. I
love that book
was awesome.
too. Yeah, I love that book too.
But maybe that
I
was
don't have it. I've never read it, so sorry.
Oh, you've never read it? It's
I read the first few issues, and it was coming out in singles, and I just felt this is gonna be pretty unpopular, but whatever. I just thought the relationship between Batman and Damian was really pathetic, and it was really Batman just going, "All right, Damian, you got to respect your family and your ancestors," and it was really kind of just whiny the first like 2 issues, if I remember correctly, and I just stopped reading it after that. I just couldn't get into it.
Yeah, Damian is a snot-nosed punk.
Yeah, but I never expected Batman to kind of just sit his son down and go, you need to understand your family history on like the Wayne side of things. But to me, I was like, who fucking cares about the Waynes when you're Ra's al Ghul's, grandson? That's
well, I think that's
where he grew up. That's where he was brought up, was to Ra's al Ghul's family. So
I think that's what he was trying to show, though. It was like Batman has no idea how to raise a kid. The kids that he's raised, he trained in Warriors. This is the first time he's actually had a, I guess a legitimate son, even though he adopted Tim Drake and stuff like that.
No, I mean, no, that's I get that, but this was, if it was more like Batman not understanding and it being kind of like
Mr. Mom,
him treating Damian like another Robin, I would get that and I would understand that, but this is a complete 360. Like he was like a soccer dad kind of thing. It felt like, and that it just kind of just rubbed me the wrong way. But moving on, my book of the year for DC. I absolutely think this is one of the best books I've read in a very, very long time, especially DC related. Not a lot of the New 52 stuff really did it for me, but right out of the gate on this DC Rebirth Detective Comics, like 1 or 2 issues in, I was hooked and just completely fell in love with this book. I love it. I'm half tempted to get the singles just to kind of keep up with the story, but that's a bad rabbit hole for me to fall into. So I'm gonna have to just keep waiting, or I'll just read the trade paperbacks at work and wait for the hardcovers to come out. But this is just it's more of a Batwoman story than it is a Batman story. But it's also, again, Stephanie Brown's in here, and it's the your more satellite ancillary characters of the Batman universe. And I have to give it up. 2
Batgirls in that team.
Yeah, dude, like for real, you got
Batwoman. That's your best Batwoman of the year right there in that book. Yeah,
no, 100%. And my 2 favorite Batgirls, you got Cassandra Cain and Stephanie Brown, all in one book. Wonderful emotional relationship stuff between Drake and Stephanie as well, or Tim Drake and Stephanie. That got me, and it made me really care about Clayface. Like there was some really good Clayface moments in this series. Not just that, but he kind of made their own danger room, like the X-Men, but out of like Clayface. So that stuff was really cool too.
Yeah, I like the way that he writes Clayface. I didn't think I would dig it because I'm like, this is stupid. Why does this team need a Clayface? They could have grabbed another character, like what's his name, Harold? Is that his name? The guy that was
dead.
Yeah, he died in Hush.
Yeah,
that was his name, right? The guy that was kind of mentally challenged.
Yeah, he was kind of the
and he worked on his mechanic.
Yeah,
I forgot. Yeah, he did die in Hush.
Yeah, he did.
Sad.
John P., try and keep up. You're. I did pick Batman while you were rebooting your computer. I picked Batman as one of the best. So try and keep up with us, huh?
So would you say the Detective was your favorite overall, DC?
Yeah, 100%. Love that book.
Cool.
All right, worthy choice.
All right, Jess. What publisher next?
How about Marvel? Marvel came out with some good books. My first runner-up, I read it. It got destroyed in the flood, so I rebought it, and that's why it's in the shrink wrap. I've already read it, but it's in the shrink wrap. And that is Jane Foster Thor by Jason Aaron. I loved this book. Great art, great story. I love I think almost all my Marvel picks are going to have women in them, except for the next one. But I just can't say enough about this book. I thought it was an inspiration to have the pick of Jane Foster as Thor, and it surprised me. I didn't know anything about it when I went into it, and I thought it was just great. The Goddess of Thunder. This was a great book. The next one, I'm sort of cheating on this because I already owned it in oversized hardcovers, but it came out as an omnibus this year. I read the hardcovers last year, but Darth Vader from Marvel Omnibus. This, I gave the 2 oversized hardcovers to my daughter, who's not a comic reader, but she loves Star Wars, and she loved these books. And this also, I just picked this up. So
that Vader down story is so good.
I can't say enough about the killer droids and just that's evil, and just the stuff that goes around in her head, and how this all takes place after the Death Star blows up, and Darth Vader's got to work his way back into favor with the Emperor. And God, what a great bunch of stories. Every single issue, and Vader Down especially. Yeah, this was, I mean, another guaranteed read that I guarantee you will like this. This is one of the best written books that I've read from Marvel in a long time. I loved it. And then we've got Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. I love that this year.
My daughter loves that book too.
Yeah, it's great for all ages, and I just love that she's now the smartest person in the DC universe, Lunella Lafayette. I think there were 3 of them that came out, and I know that it's really popular in schools because Luis has told us that it's always in the Scholastic book orders, so that's why they keep putting this out in trade paperbacks, even though I don't know how well it sells in single issues. I guess Gabe could speak to that better than I could, but it's just top-notch fun. I love it. And my next book,
it doesn't sell for shit in my store. Nobody buys it.
No, yeah, I don't know that it comes. I don't know that it sells well at all, except in trade paperback form to kids and stuff like that. I love the story by James Robinson, Scarlet Witch.
I'm gonna have to check that out.
Great paneling, great art, great colors, and a really, really well done Scarlet Witch story about how magic is sick, and she's got to figure out why it's sick. She comes up against an old nemesis, and all kinds of machinations with various kinds of sorcerers around the world, and it is really well done. I loved Scarlet Witch, and you can tell just from this how cool the artwork is in it. And then my first runner-up is a book that, of course, got canceled because it was so awesome, Mockingbird. This was great. This shows Bobby Morse as Mockingbird, and it is snappily written, very witty, very quick-paced, really edgy, sarcastic wit. And I love this book. It broke my heart that it got canceled after just a few issues. But this is a really sharp-written, well-done book. I loved Mockingbird, and it's a travesty that it got canceled. They should have at least given it a few more issues to try and sell. But I can't say enough about Mockingbird. It was great. And my total favorite of the year, I can't wait for these trades to come out, because this is my perfect book, because it's funny, fun, got a lot of heart, it breaks the fourth wall all the time. The Unbelievable Gwenpool.
Really?
If you want to have fun. Yeah. If you want to have fun in a comic, this is the comic for you. This is a blast. I love all the sarcastic wit in this. It is just,
book of the year, huh? Gwenpool.
Yep.
I can't even take Spider-Gwen seriously. That yeah, this is gonna be a hard. This is gonna be a hard sell for me. Okay, what is it about Gwen? Where did she even come from? Was she in
She gets
Deadpool's? Was that?
she gets I don't you know her origin is kind of sketchy. She just gets dropped into Marvel's world as but I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain.
She comes from our world, and
she comes from our world and gets dropped into the comic book world, and she knows how everything works.
So she's the Gwen
She knows all the
Stacy
villains
of our world that gets dropped.
Nothing to do with Gwen Stacy. She's just a girl named Gwen.
Oh
yeah.
What the shit? All these years I thought it was Gwen Stacy. Maybe I was thinking of Spider-Gwen.
No, she doesn't have any real powers, except she knows all the weaknesses and strengths of everybody, and she knows how storylines are supposed to turn out because she's dropped into a comic book world. Superpowers that she knows everybody's weakness and how all the stories are supposed to turn out. So she just goes in blazing, and it is just so fun. I mean, they break the fourth wall all the time, just like in Deadpool, and it is just a blast to read.
Would you say your love for her comes from your strong love for characters like Harley Quinn?
Yeah.
Underage girl.
Yeah. Exactly.
I wasn't talking about that. I was basically talking about the humor, breaking the fourth wall and things like that.
No, yeah, it's the humor.
It's just like a variant covered gag that they did, where they just Gwenonized different characters, like Spider-Gwen, and they came up with like a Loki, like a Gwen Stacy Loki. So they did one that was called Gwenpool, and all of us were just that character. It was like Deadpool in a pink suit on a blow-up raft in a swimming pool, and just people just lost their shit over it. And Marvel decided to take that character or that design and make it a character, and that's kind of how this Gwenpool came along.
So she kind of is Gwen Stacy. Aha, I was kind of right.
Yeah, kind of.
Whatever makes you feel better, Omar. It's cool, dude.
I'll take kind of right. I've been married for years. I'll take it.
Good point.
Okay, man. Okay, Gwenpool, huh? I'm really surprised, Jess. Book of the year, huh, for you?
It's just fun. I just love to have. I just love to laugh. I love to have fun. It's just a brightly colored pink bubblegum of a comic book to me, and it made me happy. Every time I read it, it made me happy.
Okay.
Like a drug.
Well, I'm gonna man it up some. I'm gonna man up our show with my book, Marvel Book of the Year.
You motherfucker.
The finale. That's why I wanted to go next. The finale. You got all those books behind you. I have to go all the way upstairs to get more books. I was gonna pick it anyway. So.
Oh, look at me. I got 2-story house. Blah, blah, blah.
I live in the middle of Tornado Valley. I have to have a 2-story house. Speaking of which, I need to move my books down here. They can take my bed and TV. I don't care about that, but they can't take my omnibuses. So anyway, this is it. And this really, because this came out in March. Like, we had War of the Kings coming out in November of 2016. Then we had Realm of the Kings. I'm sorry, the Prelude War of the Kings. And that came out like in February. And then this came out in March of 2017. And this kind of encompasses everything that I loved about the cosmic universe. Starting with Annihilation Conquest. And then we had a total of 5, which I never thought we would ever see the entire DNA saga.
Preach, Omar. Preach, man. Preach.
The entire DNA Cosmic Saga in omnibus format. That makes me such a happy person. Like, I had all this stuff in hardcover format, but once the omnibuses were announced, I was sold. I was like, I gotta get them all. That's awesome. I'm so glad. So this is the final one. So it was such a happy moment when I slid it into my bookcase. And
nice.
There's no sexual analogy there. I literally made like sliding my book into my bookcase.
Lube it up.
You're the one bringing it up, not us.
But I mean, it's just such an like, if you've never read the Marvel Cosmic
Buy
Saga,
yourself a drink first and dinner.
I don't have to drink to perform. If you've never read the Marvel Cosmic Saga, do yourself a favor and check out the trade paperbacks,
Yes.
whatever format they're available in.
No, get the Omnis. Get the Omnis. Don't be a dick. Get the Omnis.
I'll be right back.
That
Keep it
Annihilation
going.
Omnibus is expensive, man. It's out of print. Like my boy Nova making out with his girl Namorita.
She's like eating his face, dude.
Dude, she's been dead for a while. They deserve it.
Zombie.
Oh, I
Zombie
love
fucking
this book.
good.
So yeah, this is the grand finale with the Cancerverse and the return of other characters. I was just so happy to see it. Like I'm pretty sure classic X-Men Classic Omnibus would have been my favorite, but that doesn't come in because I get most of my omnibuses through DCBS, so I don't get that till the end of the month. And I also just ordered the Captain America Mark Waid run.
Oh man, I can't wait to get that book. I have it in my cubby at home or at the store.
I love that book, dude.
I know. I've only read a little bit of that stuff when it was first coming out, and then it just kept getting interrupted with like events and all that stuff, and I just lost track of it. And I really want to go back and enjoy it again.
Oh, it was so good. Like I remember, that was probably one of the saving graces of the '90s. Like, because most of the stuff, because that was around the time when Avengers: The Crossing was coming out, and everybody was hating on the Avengers, all the Avengers books. Captain America. Then you had I don't know. I kind of like William Messner Loeb's Thor. I thought he did a good job on Thor, but I don't think nobody else did. Everybody else praised Warren Ellis's was it World Engine, I think. But yeah, and then you had Mark Grunwald writing Thor for like 10 years, and coming out of nowhere was this guy named Mark Waid. Well, I had only read some of his DC stuff, and he wrote those issues of Captain America, and I was like, man, this is awesome. Because like Mark Grunwald's last issue of Captain America, he was like dying. He was in his deathbed because he had to be in that extreme armored suit. And then Mark Waid comes in and makes him such a badass again, brings back Sharon Carter. Oh, I love Mark Waid's run. I can't wait to get that on the bus. That and like I said, Classic X-Men. Because Classic X-Men is another case of like, what the fuck? Where did this come from, Marvel? That's awesome. I'm glad, for collectors like me. But there are so many. I'm surprised we see that before New Mutants Volume 1 or X Factor Volume 1 Omnibus. Yeah. So, but yeah, definitely War of the Kings, guys. That was mine.
All right. Well, let me just kind of piggyback on you because that was going to be my choice as well.
Copycat.
Do you not have Annihilation, Omar? You don't have Annihilation?
Yeah, I got him. But Annihilation came out, in 2013. So
no, you made it sound like you didn't have it because you're like, that book's so expensive. Like,
it is. Well, you told me to recommend it to the group. I didn't want to be a dickhead and be like, yeah, I recommend everybody go out and get Annihilation Omnibus for $500.
Yeah, that's right. Just sell stuff. Just go get it and pay $500.
That sounds like I'm gonna sound just as douchebag as the guys. Like, everybody go out and buy Fantastic Four #1 because it's gonna be worth a lot more money later. Oh wait, that was you. My bad.
No, you're gonna thank me later. You'll thank me later. I'll even tell you a good price to pay for those books. So whatever. But yeah, I want to piggyback on Omar's recommendation as well for Realm of Kings, because again, I was reading Nova and Guardians of the Galaxy and singles, DNA stuff as they were coming out, and those books got no love whatsoever. Like, I think I was the only guy ordering that book, it felt like. And it just felt like that book just kept getting canceled and pulled off the shelves like every other issue. It's almost how like Joe Kelly's Deadpool was back in the day. But I'm so excited to see that we got kind of cheating here, but we got the War of Kings in omnibus format. So that's definitely a pick for me. Same thing as well. I never thought we would get, speaking of Mark Waid, the Mark Waid Daredevil Omnibus. Another great story and beautiful book as well. Mine isn't open yet, so everybody can complain about how I don't read my books. But I read these in single. I had the hardcovers, and I sold them to buy this. So I've read the story before. I just haven't opened these ones yet to read. But this was, I know, right? I'm just in these things. I'm a flipper. I'm just going to flip it. That's what it is.
I knew it. That's how he's able to afford all those copies of Fantastic Four #1.
Yeah, and Ultimate Spider-Man Volume 11.
You should hold raffles. Hey, so your hell, I don't even know where I was going with that. I'm not even drinking.
Maybe you should, and maybe it'll straighten you out a little bit.
Carry on. I had a thought, and there.
All right.
But
This is Mark Waid. This is the first the first Daredevil that we got after Shadowland. Womp womp womp.
But it's cool though because we're gonna have every Daredevil collected in omnibus format since Bendis.
Yeah, but that Shadowland, dude, I'm not really one.
Fuck you! I'm buying it. I'll have it. No, you know what? I didn't get the Waid omnibus either because I have the original hardcovers, the oversized.
If you're excited to buy Shadowland, Omar, then you win, sir. You.
I didn't say I'm excited. Come on, I'm a glutton for shitty stories. Avengers: The Crossing. You put a different suit on a motherfucker, I'm sold. I'm like, oh, Daredevil ain't wearing his fucking red costume. Oh shit, it's on.
Oh, that armor costume was the shit, though. I don't care. That armor costume was.
Fall from Grace was the same way. He's like, yeah. I was like, oh shit, Daredevil's badass now.
What are you talking about? I just recommended Azrael Batman, dude, in the last segment. What are you talking about?
Yeah, you're right. You can't talk much.
I'm all over that shit. Yeah, so this is but Shadowland, I'll wait till that gets like clearance. I'll wait till that's like a $30 omnibus or something. But yes, so this is Mark Waid coming back. Well, actually, the first time he wrote Daredevil, but it's Mark Waid bringing Daredevil back to a fun, swashbuckling, ladies' man, just literally like a devil-may-care kind of character all over again. This is a great series. It's Daredevil is playing around with the idea that people know his identity, but he's still a lawyer. He is still. There's a great storyline here where he goes to Latveria and he loses all of his senses. Like he has no sight, no sound, obviously no sight, but loses his hearing, and just how he escapes Dr. Doom's castle with absolutely no senses. Just really fun. Like thought-provoking. It's Mark Waid, so you know this stuff is just really highbrow. You know, just why didn't I think of that? That's so obvious kind of storyline. So definitely recommend Mark Waid's Daredevil. I remember there being a second book solicited. I don't know if I'm.
It's already out. It's out. It's sold out already.
Oh, shut up, fool!
I just wanted to make you sweat for a second.
I did, man. Like my testicles went back inside my body for a second.
Oh wow! I don't think it's out yet. I know the two Brewbakers were out. Hear that, John P?
Yeah.
Brewbaker, because of you, sir. I say it correctly. It comes out next March.
Okay. March is when the first one came out. Okay.
It got solicited long before then, though.
Yeah, I know. I swear it got maybe just. It's really hard to kind of keep that timeline because of how like immediate we are looking at like the catalogs and the solicitations as they're like announced before anybody really knows about them. So it just seemed like that solicitation came out like a long time ago. So
yeah, I hate when that happens and then all the books come out at once and then I'm like rushing to fucking like, sell blood and sperm to afford some of these books. You get to be a certain age, nobody wants your sperm anymore, whether it's at the bank or ladies.
Yeah, 15.
All right. So what's next? Was that your best Marvel or what was your? I'm sorry. What was your best Marvel? My bad.
I'm still working on it. Avengers by Hickman.
None of these books are open. None of these books are open.
None of them are open.
How are you recommending these books, Gabe?
Fake reader, fake reader.
You are like a politician. Lie to me. Lie to me.
No, this one. The reason this one's not open is because the one I got was damaged. I opened it and it was damaged and messed up. I even did a review on it. So you can look at my channel, fuckers, and see that I did open it and read through it. I had to replace it because it was all fucked up. But Hickman, I mean, the second one just got announced.
Yeah. That
does not have Secret Wars in it. So I think there's going to be a run on the Secret Wars hardcover pretty soon. But yeah, I mean, this is the story. This shouldn't even be really called Avengers. It just seems to be like the final storyline for Hickman's Fantastic Four. So, but this leads all the way up to Infinity, and Infinity seems kind of be loosely based, or what the movies are using loosely to make the Infinity War movie on, because it seems like they got the Black Order and Wakanda and all that kind of stuff. So, Hickman's Adventures is really, really great, especially with all the incursions and all that kind of fun stuff.
You know, the only reason I upgraded to that omnibus was so I can get that Mojo story, the 3-page Mojo story.
Well, there you go. You win. And last book, my favorite book, Spider-Gwen. No matter what anybody says, I think Spider-Gwen is one of Marvel's best new characters.
You two are a bunch of sellouts. Gwen Stacy ripoffs, guys.
Yeah.
Purple and Spider-Gwen.
Hey, at least these ones didn't have
what we love.
What kind of bizarro world am I living in? All right, go ahead.
At least Spider-Gwen
Spider-Gwen
and Gwenpool did not have an affair with Norman Osborn.
Oh, we are
right.
Fuck that story.
I went
since
there.
Since shit. Oh, I hate that story so much. I'm not even a big Spider-Man guy, but that story sucked balls. All right, go ahead. Sell me on Spider-Gwen. What is so good?
It's a beautiful storyline. It's a beautiful book about a teenage girl in a rock band and her dealing with coming across. It's basically if the radioactive spider bit Gwen Stacy instead of biting Peter Parker. Peter Parker is dead in this universe, and I guess she's a part of their 616 now. I've lost track of what's going on after Secret Wars. Because honestly, I don't think I've really read any Marvel since Secret Wars because they got rid of the Fantastic Four. But either way, it's just a beautiful, fun story about a girl who is dealing with the death of one of her best friends, being in a band, dealing with band drama and fun stuff like that as well. So everybody but Omar, go ahead and pick this up. Omar, you can just read more crap like The Crossing.
You can buzz my balls all about The Crossing. I don't give a shit. I own that.
I don't know. I've never read it full. I'd read it. I'd buy it. Whatever.
Okay.
Atlantis Attacks. I'll get it. I don't care.
Spider-Gwen is now living in the 616 universe. Have Spider-Gwen and Gwenpool, not Bump Ugly, sorry. Have they crossed over? Have they?
I don't think Spider-Gwen is in the 616.
So the stories that you're reading about are not in the 616, Gabe? I thought we were done with alternate universes because
I think she's in an alternate universe.
I thought there was too, but this is all before Secret Wars.
Oh, okay. So we don't know if she is or not because you're not current on. Okay.
Yeah, I don't read Marvel anymore right now until the Fantastic Four come back.
Steve Sanchez not pleased with you, Gabe. He's throwing shade at you in the chat over your pick.
Well, you know what?
That's okay. Everybody's entitled to a shitty story a year.
Oh fuck! Oh my god, Spider-Gwen's so great.
Oh, everybody loves Omar because he hates Spider-Gwen. Oh,
but I also like The Crossing, so it balances me out. They're like, oh, that guy's cool. Oh, not really. All right. So Spider-Gwen and Miles Morales have gotten down. Does that happen? That's what Clark Nato said.
Yeah, dude. I'm gonna smell Miles Morales' fingers.
Underage. Okay. Cool. Creepy. Image. Right. Moving on to Image.
Okay.
What do you got, Jess? What 15 books have you put in your bag?
I can blaze through this so I don't take up too much time. I dedicated my day to reading what is called the Edenverse. That is where the universe that Postal, The Tithe, and Think Tank all take place in by Matt Hawkins, rather. I'm sorry. Do yourself a favor, read these books, especially Postal. Postal is about a murder in a town that is not on the map, Eden, Wyoming. It's where the FBI has created an unknown, untraceable city of criminals that are out of jail, and it's a murder mystery that takes place in this town. It's great. The Tithe is about a hacker that goes after mega donor churches that are corrupt. And then Think Tank is about an incredibly smart guy who works for the government and is conflicted about all the deadly weapons he creates. And it's full of amazing technology. And the guy, Matt Hawkins, has created an amazing backstory and universe on these books, almost as extensive as Lazarus. So it is some kind of well thought out universe. Then this this could have been my pick of the year, but it's a strong runner-up, and that is Luther Strode, the complete series.
You guys sold me on that. I'm picking that up with my next in stock order.
Oh man, this is a good book.
I think you and Gabe.
Yeah, this is such a good book with great Tradmore art. Justin Jordan made his claim to fame on this book. It's super bloody, super violent, and just super great, with a great concept of how this guy gets his powers from an ad in like the back of a comic book or whatever it was, and how he takes on pretty much the world of all these other assassins. And he just wants justice for all, and it's just an amazing book. I can't say enough about this series. It is I think it's what put Justin Jordan on the map, and rightfully so, and Tradmore. Another one is kind of manga-ish art, fabulous story with great art, and that's Monstrous. These are all Image books. Monstrous, it's hard to describe, but it takes place in a
I love that artwork. That's it's Marjorie Liu, right? She's the writer on it.
She's the writer on it, and Sana Takeda is the artist. It's about an alternate world where a girl has an incredibly powerful monster inside her, and she's taking on all these incredible. It's like a fantasy sci-fi epic, and it's just amazingly drawn and with a super just fun. Well, it's not really that much fun. It's kind of dark, the story. But I enjoyed the heck out of Monstrous. It came out, there was 2 trade paperbacks that came out, and I imagine there's a 3rd coming out soon. I can only hope, but it is really well done. This girl goes on a bunch of amazing adventures to get to her final destination. And I loved it a lot. I'm going to skip that book because I think it's over people's heads. This book came out. Okay, wait a sec. Okay, yeah, this book came out. I love Paper Girls. And it's Brian K. Vaughan with Cliff Chang art. And it's been around for a while, but this collection just came out. And it's a beautiful, huge hardcover. And I don't mind having a pink hardcover because I know I'm all man. I've had a kid. I'm married. So I don't need to prove anything to you fuckers. So pink book's okay with me.
No one was judging you, man. Yeah.
I know. I wanted to head it off of the path.
I judge you because of one, not because of pink cover.
And then my pick of the year for Image. I don't know if you've read this, Omar. I can't remember if we talked about it, but this I read all four or five. I think it has 4 trades, and it just, of course, as soon as I bought it, it got announced for a hardcover. And that's Jeff Lemire's Descender.
Oh, I did. I got the first trade. I loved it, and I was just riding on the hopes that it would be collected in hardcover, and sure enough, it finally got announced with Dustin Nguyen on the artwork.
Yeah, you scored waiting it out. This is about an artificial intelligence world where artificial intelligence has been outlawed, and with great, fabulous art. It's 4 trades. Jeff Lemire's writing is just fantastic. And I just can't. This is just my favorite book from Image. It was so well done. I'm not doing a good job explaining what it's about because I've got so many books rattling around in my head right now. But this kid, Tim 21, has a group that's with him. He's artificial intelligence, and I'm totally dropping the ball and explaining why I love it so much. I'm just going to show you pictures, and you can figure it out.
I have loved it. I've always loved his artwork, and the cool thing about Dustin Nguyen is that his artwork always changes. Like he can draw beautiful painted stuff like that. He can draw kid stuff. Yeah, he can draw like like really dark Frank Miller like pencils and stuff like that, depending on what book he's on. That's why I really enjoy it. His artwork.
Yeah, is it Lemire or Lemire? I say it both ways, and I don't know what it is. Do we know?
I always go with Lemire.
I always go with
Lemire?
Lemire. Yeah,
Lemire. Okay,
but
sounds like the beginning of
probably wrong.
Laverne and Shirley. Lemire. Lemire. So, yeah, this book is not to be believed. It was I don't know how much. Did you get the hardcover for it?
It's not.
Omar?
It's not out yet.
Oh, it's not out. Okay.
I think it comes out next week, maybe.
Yeah, it's early next year.
Oh, is it?
Oh, it's next year. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't think it was out yet.
I just got the trade, so I'm probably not going to upgrade, but I highly recommend Descender. It is a sci-fi space epic that with a lot of heart that I totally loved, and that is my top pick from Image.
Are we doing? What are we doing after Image, or are we just because I was
Independent ones? I've got all kinds of independent books.
All right, I was gonna group independent in with Image all together as independent, but I'll leave that because I'm pretty sure you and I will have the same pick in independence. Jess, and for John out there, I'm gonna keep moving my glasses up so that you keep drinking, and I'll keep talking about working at Torpedoes so that you can blow up your liver tonight.
Is he taking a shot every time you move your glasses?
Yeah, every time I push up my glasses or talk about Torpedo, he says he takes a drink.
What a fun drinking game.
The fact that you're wearing a Torpedo hoodie. All right, so my pick.
Oh, sorry. Look at it. You're wearing your work shirt too, Omar. Shut up.
Waylon, this is
Yeah, see? You're pimping your corporation.
Do you not know where this is from?
I do know where it's from. I'm joking.
All right. I wish I worked there. I'd be making lots of money.
That'd be bad.
I'd be sending motherfuckers out into space. I would not be the one going out there. So my pick, if I had runners up, it would definitely be low. It would be Tokyo Ghost.
Mm-hmm.
I love those books. I thought they were awesome.
You're right.
And Remender's always killing it. I loved. I can't remember if Deadly Class Volume 1 was released earlier this year or not, but I absolutely love that book. It's probably one of my favorite books right after his the book we talked about last week, Fear Agent. Yeah. Deadly Class is one of those books that made me start reading the monthlies digitally because I couldn't wait until the next trade because it just every cliffhanger I was like I can't do it.
Sucker.
It's so good though, man. So Paper Girls, yes, I'm with Jess. This is my pick of the year. I absolutely love this book. 80s, 4 girls on a paper route, run into maybe aliens, maybe people from the future. Don't want to spoil it. You know what sold it for me? Right off the bat, right there in her room, she has a fucking Monster Squad poster. That's right.
Kick him in the nards, dude. Kick him in the nards.
Wolfman ain't got no nards. So I can't say enough about this book. It's so awesome. Just summarized it really good. I love the artwork and the presentation is great. The only thing I'm disappointed in is that it only has the first 10 issues. I wish they would have gone all the way to 15 because 15 had an awesome cliffhanger, but that's okay. More hardcovers look better on the shelf, right? They know that people are going to buy them anyway because it's Brian K. Vaughan. But anyway, check this book out if you have not. It is awesome. If you want to check it out, read the trades. Well worth it. All right, Gabe, what you got, man?
Wait up.
The book I skipped was Black Monday Murders. I loved this book, but I was talking to Luis about it, and he said it just was not his style of book, and it's a great book. It's I liked it because I have a strong financial background, and I think that really helps in this book because it's how there's a giant conspiracy involved in the making and moving around of money throughout the world and financial institutions. And since that's what my background is in finance, that I totally got and loved this book. But I from I'm not sure that it has universal appeal, and that's why I didn't want to talk about it. But it is great.
Who's the artist on it?
Let's see. Tom Coker.
Can you hold up a panel or a page? I'm sorry.
Yeah. Tom Coker is the artist. It's got a very muted color palette. It's got very realistic art, and I genuinely loved it. But you have to go into it knowing that you may need to Wikipedia some stuff about finance and other things like that.
I heard a lot about that book. It's a lot of over your head stock market kind of information.
Right. And that may be why I liked it so much, just because I could understand it. But I can see how some people might look at it and just go, what the hell is this about?
There's like a lot of dialogue. Look at the size of those word balloons, man. Fuck.
Yeah, it is very dialogue heavy. And not only that, but there's lots of parts in it with like redacted documents and stuff that you have to read through.
Looks like some heavy reading. It looks pretty cool though. I'm digging the artwork. And
yeah, it is.
The way
yeah,
you're
it is heavy
describing
reading.
Sounds really interesting.
Yeah, it is, and it's very thick for a trade, first trade. It's very thick. It's by Hickman, and I just love the hell out of it. And it's just, but it.
You know, I find out I found out that most of Hickman's stuff they'll take me a little while to read, not because it's really heavy narrative, but it's because it's just got so much layers into it.
Right, that's a good way to describe this book, with a lot of layers.
The second reading with everything that he does, like his Fantastic Four, you just find more things in there.
That's a good way to describe it.
Really,
yeah, it does have a lot of layers in it.
All right, Gabe, what you got, man?
All right, so for my Image pick is the best Image book that has came out through the company in probably 15 years, and that's Chew. It's really the only Image book I think I picked up this year.
You didn't pick up Invincible? Well, I thought you were an Invincible guy, aren't you?
No, I haven't gotten the new Invincible stuff. I have up to volume 10. I don't have 11 yet, and 12's not out yet. So I have up to 10. But Chew is definitely the best book that Image had the pleasure of producing and putting out, from John Layman and Rob Guillory. This is about a detective who has the special abilities of seeing all the past memories of whatever he eats. So if he eats like a carrot, he can see the carrot being plucked and harvested out of the ground and sprayed with pesticides. If he eats any kind of meat, he could see the animal being slaughtered and crazy, creepy stuff like that. So he uses those abilities to work for the FDA. The FDA in this world is basically the FBI, because in this world, bird flu actually happened and wiped out a lot of our population. So chicken is outlawed. So the book is all about like chicken jokes and poultry, poultrygeist, I guess you could say, like haunted chickens and haunted food, and other just lots and lots of like different types of food humor. But the art from Rob Guillory is fantastic. I actually own original artwork from Rob Guillory out of, I think it's like issue 2 or 3 I have. It's cartoony, but it's also just really gets across like the humor and the jokes in the series. I don't want to say too much about this last third Smorgasbord edition, because I'm going to spoil the ending of the book. And this is just kind of my way of cheating and getting the entire Chew saga in general.
It's a good way of doing it.
Yeah, exactly. I had to get that in there. But really, if you haven't read Chew, and if you just want something completely different and original, there's no other book out there with this type of storyline or character development or really anything like that. Like it's super 100% original. It's not superheroes. It's not capes. It's not people punching each other all the time. It's not crime gritty or anything like that, but it's just this beautiful original book. And these smorgasbord editions are basically absolutes, and they're slipcased as well. So they're great. And that's basically the only thing I got from Image this year, because everything else from Image is really no hardcovers out yet or anything like that I'm really, particularly fond of.
I love Chew as well. I think it's an awesome book. It reminded me, my brother bought it for me because he fell in love with it. And I only read it, I think, last year. And then, of course, I finished it up this year. Because it was one of those things that I'm like, oh, it's like iZombie, except the guy eats toes and stuff like that. But it was so much more than that, right? I ended up loving the characters. And part of me, I guess maybe it's because I play video games. I always like to find out what other people's powers are. So, like, when somebody else eats, everybody has different kind of powers. Every character in the book, much like his sister, right, has a different power when it comes to eating, or like his mentor and things like that. So I always like to find out, or the vampire that's going around, kind of like the dude from God, I hate comparing it to that show, but Heroes. He would inherit everybody else's powers if he ate them. Yeah, I thought that was really cool. I like the mystery. I wish it had gone a little bit longer because I thought the ending kind of ended a little bit abrupt, but I was completely fine with it. Overall, the series was amazing.
Yeah,
who's
I remember that one guy.
Is it John Layton?
John Layman, yeah.
Layman.
John Layman. Okay. Because Benjamin's asking, anybody knows if the rumor of Smorgasbord Volume 1 will be reprinted next year? We asked him about that at Baltimore Con, and he said he didn't even know it was out of print, and he said he was going to fix that immediately.
Man.
So, for what it's worth, he's gonna get it reprinted. He was a really good guy.
Didn't he write a Batman story? Was it Detective, I think?
Yeah, it was a Penguin storyline.
I thought he wrote The City of Children or something like that. I couldn't remember.
I guess he's also gone around saying that Marvel won't hire image creators anymore, or that the big two won't hire image creators anymore. Like,
I don't know about that. I mean, DC still
blacklisted a little bit.
I think we're watching John P. lose his mind.
Good.
He's not even hitting the right keys on the keyboard. It's like pieces up there, and just their words are just pouring out. They're not even making sense.
What if he gets bit by a homeless guy and becomes a homeless person?
Am I the only one playing the drinking game? To that extent that you're playing it, I think so.
Oh man, I wish I was where he was. All right, so
Gothtopia is what he wrote.
That was it, yeah. 52 is volume 4 and 5. And the Penguin, yeah, you're right, Gabe. And those were coming on the heels of what's his name?
I'm sorry, what was that? I didn't hear you.
Tony Daniel. Not gonna repeat myself. No, I'm just kidding.
I was right.
I couldn't remember the name of the story, but somebody on the chat mentioned it. So do you want to do independent?
Sure. I'm gonna go pick this first, but yeah, go for it.
All right, you go ahead, Jess. Because my favorite independent isn't here yet. It releases, I think, next week. But I got another one. I got another one just in case.
Okay. The first runner-up got a nice, beautiful, oversized hardcover. And I did a video review of these books, and I can't say enough about Lady Mechanica, put out by Joe Benitez and Benitez Productions. You can't get any more independent than this guy. He's just printing his own books. Unbelievable art, great psycho steampunk detective story set in London. I loved this book and all the crazy characters and steampunkiness in it. Just look at these drawings. This guy knows his way around a pen and ink, and he knows what's going on. Just a wonderful adventure tale. People with mechanical limbs and mechanical jaws, and she's just an ultra badass that goes around trying to solve various mysteries and things through various means. She's, put together, she's half mechanical herself, and she's always trying to figure out how it happened. And she's meeting other crazy adventurers, and there's all kind of airships and steamships, and I don't know. It's a great story with.
Looks very steampunkish, right?
Yeah, it is. It's ultra steampunk.
Is he? So is Benitez also writing it, or is he just doing?
He wrote the first. I think he wrote the first 3 volumes, and then somebody else took over for him in volume 4. But he wrote all the ones in this hardcover, volume 1, which came out. He had somebody else. I think it said Benitez story, and then somebody else did the writing, but he came up with the storyline for, I think it was paperback 4. But yeah, stuff happens in this book. It's great. I just love this book. I say that too much. I love this book. I love this book. But here's another book I loved. This one's put out by Dark Horse.
Nothing wrong with loving books too much.
Yeah, we're in this to love books. This book is, I'll read the description. Kingsway West. This is put out by Dark Horse. After spending 13 years in a war that made him a monster, a Chinese gunslinger named Kingsway Law just wants to live in peace with his wife, Sonia. But even in a fantastical Old West, crackling with magic and dragons, a man of his skills can never quite disappear. So when a woman with a red gold sword, red gold is this amazing alchemical metal type substance, brings bloody chaos to his doorstep, Kingsway must fight for his life, his wife, and his very soul. This is like an undiscovered gem of a title. It's tons of magic in the Old West, where there was a different timeline with a different war. Slaves all have wings, as you can see there. They're fighting for their freedom in the Old West. I think it's, who wrote this? Oh, Greg Pak wrote this with really great art by Mirko Kolak. I think it's slipped under the radar, and it needs another trade. I hope it's still ongoing. But I love this book. Sorry, I love this book. That's what I say about all the books. Well, they are my runners up, and they're in my top, top 5. So, but this book, I just really did it for me, because I love magic and I love the West. I love anything magical. So anything with that kind of magic in it, in a Western setting, I am in. I am in for the long haul. Another great book. This one's put out by Boom Studios. Welcome Back.
Yeah, you've talked about that book a lot.
Yeah, I have.
I'm gonna read that one. I'm hoping they'll do a hardcover.
Yeah, that'd be great. These are about warriors that keep getting reincarnated and fighting the same fight over and over for thousands of years. Everybody else in this battle gets reincarnated. And they get woke at certain times to start the battle over again. And then these 2 assassins end up falling in love and deciding they're not going to fight. And it deals with the consequences of their actions. This book has it all. Just empowered females kicking ass and reincarnation that's really cool. A thousands-year-old war that's being fought. They can't even remember why. I loved Welcome Back. And the big surprise this year also came from Boom Studios. This book, it was a joy to read because it's Joy Ride. I love this book. It's about a teenage girl on Earth, but the stars have been blocked out with a protective seal put over Earth and half the moon, so you can't get out and nobody else can get in. And she just decides she's going to steal a spaceship, and the spaceship is it's a living being. And she has some compadres along for the ride with her, including a soldier who is the daughter of the overseer of the Earth. They meet an 8th dimensional being who can make their dreams come true. There's 2 volumes of this. This is my second favorite independent book. They go through all kinds of fun adventures that are just amazing. I dig this book.
I really like that artwork too. I remember you showing that before. I dug that artwork.
Show, and I've done a video on it, so I highly recommend it.
It looks like fun. It looks like a great like read. What's it called? Joyride?
Joyride, yeah. It is just fun. That's what the main thing is about it. She goes into every situation thinking there's not a problem she can't solve with a positive attitude, and there's all kinds of creatures and cops and different adventures they go on in this ship that's a living organism, it turns out, and it's an amazing book written by somebody I didn't know and drawn by somebody I don't know. It's written by Jackson Lansing, Colin Kelly, and Marcus Toe, T-O. It's written by Jackson Lansing and Colin Kelly, and art by Marcus Toe, T-O. I'm sure I'm mispronouncing it. The screen over the earth and half the moon looks like, and how you got to smuggle yourself over to the dark side of the moon to get out of the earth.
Looks like a Pokeball.
Yeah, exactly. And then my winner of Independent and quite possibly Book of the Year. I wouldn't be surprised if this thing's won all kinds of awards. It's probably not up everybody's alley, but the amount of craftsmanship in this book is amazing, and that is my favorite thing is monsters.
Yeah, you talked about that a lot. I don't know what this is yet.
Yeah, well, it's a book that's set in late 1960s Chicago, with kind of an underprivileged girl wanting to solve what she thinks is the murder of her upstairs neighbor, who is a survivor of concentration camps and the Holocaust.
Oh.
And so it tells the young girl's story. She's Hispanic, and her world is kind of, she turns inward to her world, which is kind of all about monsters and monster movies and monster comics, and done in this sort of cross-hatching style on what looks to be, like notebook paper. And so it tells her story growing up, and it tells the story on cassette tapes that she illustrates of Anka's growing up in Germany during World War II, and how she has to sell herself to survive, and then how she gets in a concentration camp and how she gets out of there. So it's two stories going on, but this is beyond the beyond for me. It's an amazing book that's just scorchingly well done. She loses her mom, and she's got an older rebellious brother that gets her into these movies. She suffers the betrayal of her best friend, who throws her over for some more popular girls. She draws herself, as you can see right there, she draws herself as a monster in a detective uniform. This book is by Fantagraphics, and I've never read anything like it. This is a book by Emil Ferris. It's a woman, and this was one of the best things I read this year, easily. I think this is actually my book of the year. It's amazing and astonishing, and you can see from the drawings how great it is, and the writing is just out of this world. So that's actually my top. I just decided this is my top pick of the year. My favorite thing is monsters.
Yeah, that's saying a lot. I love how the artwork looks like it's drawn in like a notebook, like a notebook. That's really neat.
Yeah, it's
cool. I thought you and I were gonna pick the same thing, but I guess not.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm interested to hear what you pick.
I only really got one thing here because
you go next. I gotta go get mine.
Okay,
yeah, go full. Omar, fucking shit. All right, I'm gonna make this pretty quick, but I don't get a lot of independence right now because I don't read singles, and I think singles is kind of the gateway into independence because you need to support independence by reading singles. But one of my favorite books of all time, and I know, Jess, this is one of your favorite books of all time too, if not the best.
Oh.
Irredeemable Volume 4 came out this year.
Okay.
I'm a little disappointed Jess didn't mention this book.
Well, I'm waiting till Volume 5 comes out to talk about the whole series. But yeah, awesome pick.
You and I, Jess, when 5 comes out, and we both get 5. Let's just plow through all 5 volumes and then like talk about it or something.
Okay, that'd be great.
We should, because not enough people out there in the world know about Irredeemable, and that's pretty sad because this is the greatest Superman story that Mark Waid has ever written, but it's not Superman. It's basically if it was real life and an alien child fell from the sky, what would really happen? Meaning that the government takes over and raises the kid and things like that. So basically, if Superman went bad, is what this story is really all about. Oh, I'm sorry, it's not about a kid that gets captured by a book. This is just if Superman was to just decide that he is sick and tired of everybody on Earth looking up to him for help and pleading and begging him and wasting his time to save them at every little nick and every little corner and every little turn. So, here comes Omar. His party's over. But this is written, we keep talking about this creator over and over again, but it's written by Mark Waid. Art in this series is by a lot of different artists, but the main artist is Cruz. I forget his first name. Maybe Jess can help me. Is it Paul? Jeff Cruz? Paul Cruz?
I'd have to get the books.
Let me see if it's on the pages here. But this is put up by Boom. Peter Krause. That's it, Peter Krause. But just the artwork in this book is great. I just love the idea of Superman going crazy and the Justice League basically going after him and trying to defeat Superman. And this, I think, like every other issue was like the craziest cliffhangers, and it just made you just keep wanting each and every issue that came out afterwards. And these hardcovers do the exact same thing. They always make you want to go after the next one. And just when's Volume 5 come out? Do you know?
I think March.
Okay.
Is there only going to be 5 of those?
Yeah. So this is the last. This is the second to last.
So I was at a comic book shop this past Tuesday. I found one for half off, Volume 1 for $15, and I picked it up because of both of you guys. You guys recommending it. I haven't read it yet, but I know that you guys have definitely recommended it. I remember watching one of Gabe's Hall's videos, and I was intrigued because and it's Mark Waid, so I figured what could go wrong. So
yeah, no, I agree with everything Gabe said. That it's my all-time favorite book with my all-time favorite ending, and I mirror exactly what Gabe said. It's just every issue's a cliffhanger. It's actually kind of scary when you think about it. A super being with all powers who decides to just do whatever he wants and not be the good guy anymore. It's really pretty scary. And Mark Waid's name does come up a lot as for writing really, really good books. Yeah, for good reason.
Because I mean, throughout Irredeemable, they keep coming up with different ways to kill the plutonian. But there's always something that happens that changes the outcome, or something like that. The whole thing with the candle wax and things like that. It's just so well crafted. Like, I swear, Mark Waid must write the entire thing out before he actually puts it out to print. Like he has every little dot does connect at one point or another. It's crazy how well he does these things.
Oh, you mean he has a plan?
He has a plan. Like
it's amazing how many writers don't do that, though. It's sad, right? Just like, fuck it, yeah. I'll wing it.
Maybe Mark Waid doesn't, but he just knows how to cover his ass.
You're right. If you think about it, most of his writing is like that. I mean, he was like that with Flash. He was like that with Kingdom Come, on his run of Impulse. Even his small little stint on X-Men, he had a plan. Of course, he never really got to execute most of those because of editorial mandate. But
yeah, I just there's a question asked about Incorruptible, sort of the companion to it. You don't. It's also great. I don't think anything's as great as Irredeemable, but it also is great. You don't have to read them both together. They do slightly cross over for an issue or two, but you don't need to. You don't have to have Incorruptible, but Incorruptible should be read also because it's also really, really good, and that's about a supervillain who decides to go straight and become a good guy, and what his life is like on the good side, on the right side of the law. And it crosses over slightly, but you don't need to know. You don't have to read them alongside each other to enjoy it.
No, not at all. I mean, you don't have to read, like, Jesse, you don't have to read Incorruptible to enjoy Irredeemable at all.
Right.
I mean, I think I've only read the first, like, trade or two of Incorruptible. But yeah, it's good stuff. It's you can always read it later and still enjoy everything, but it's not necessary whatsoever. And also, just real quick, how do we have 45 people watching, 43 people watching, and only like 14 thumbs up? Come on, people.
At one point, we had somewhere in the 50s watching.
Holy shit! Really? Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Well, I appreciate everybody watching and viewing. Everybody besides John P.
Who's out of his mind plastered right now. There's like 12 Ks in every sentence.
I don't think he's even drunk at all. That's
crazy. That's awesome.
That's like crazy people who just have like a Bluetooth headset, so they're always talking and it doesn't look like they're crazy. But
good choice, Gabe.
Yeah, no, I really thought you were going to bring this up, but I guess not.
Yeah, it will. I'm going to bring up the whole thing next year when it comes out.
Yeah, I can't wait for Volume 5. Can't wait.
Yeah,
because I mean, there's so much stuff, dude. Like, there's like aliens that just come out of nowhere. Like I said, the whole thing with the wax, the whole thing with his arch villain. I mean, there's just so much character development, just so many new characters to kind of just really fall in love with in this book.
Yeah, and of course he's a super great guy. He was so nice, taking that picture with me at Baltimore Con and talking with me and John Wilson for a while. He just could not have been a nicer, humbler guy. That was just a wonderful experience to meet him. So that was great.
I ran into Mark Waid one time at a comic book convention of all places, right? This is funny. I had no idea it was Mark Waid. We were looking through the same back issue bin, and I started talking to him. I'm like, hey, what are you looking for? Because I'll switch you boxes. It was like a quarter bin or something. And I think he was looking for Astro City. I'm like, oh, well, if I run into any. And then we started talking about Astro City, how much we liked it. And then I noticed that he had one of those little badges that said he was there with the convention. I'm like, oh, do you work here? Like, do you volunteer? What do you do? He's like, no, I write funny books. And it still didn't click. And I'm like, oh, yeah, maybe I've read some of your stuff. Like, is it independent? And he's like, no, you ever read, like, Kingdom Come? And I was like, yeah. Are you Mark fucking Waid? Oh, man, I flipped out. Because I hadn't met him. That was, like, probably 19. Like, that was at the peak of his, like, fame when he was doing Impulse. He was doing Flash. He was doing Kingdom Come. I mean, he was big, and I had no idea what he looked like. You know, I didn't subscribe to Wizard magazine, and we didn't have the internet back then.
Omar always has the most awkward interactions with
creators
all the time.
Yeah, true. All right, so I got some picks for my independent ones.
So what's your picks, dude?
So you guys went all epic, right? That's awesome. Both of your top picks were epic. So both of them sound great, and I'm going to check out your Irredeemable. And
no, mine was not epic. It's Boom.
Not funny. Mine are more from my childhood than things I remember. So my first pick, my runner-up, is Smurfs Volume 5. This is done by Paper Cuts. It's a collection of the Peyo comic strips or comic books translated into English. They come out in little digest sizes, and this reprints 3 or 4 of the digest sizes in oversized format. This was canceled and resolicited and canceled. This is volume 5, and it's the last one. Volume 6 has not been solicited, so don't know if we'll get that.
Wait, what language was that in?
It's English.
Oh, I thought it looked like it was. It didn't look like English to me.
It's English.
It's in Smurf. Everything is just something Smurfy.
I could have sworn maybe I'm reading wrong. It looked like it was written in German or something.
Belgium? No, maybe. I don't know.
Check out Omar's verifying it's in English.
It's in English. Well, I haven't read that volume yet. Next up is something that Gabe brought up on last time, but it's Ninja Turtles by IDW.
Oh, yes.
I absolutely love this series. Once again, the different color spines goes with the different color ribbon. The inside is some of my favorite artwork. Who is it that does this? Yeah. So yeah, you got the Kevin Eastman original. You know, he's one of the creators, so he does one of the covers. But the inside artwork is completely beautiful.
It's Duncan, right? Is it still Duncan doing the inside?
Yeah, yeah. Don't want to flip to the wrong page because there's something kind of bad that happens in this issue. But yeah, you got amazing artwork with great characters from your childhood, and just modernizing the story like Gabe talked about. There's the crossover with the Ghostbusters in this one too, which my wife really likes that story.
Oh, cool.
That's cool that your wife reads with you.
Yeah. But yeah, I can't say enough about the IDW Turtle Universe. Yeah, this artwork right here, so awesome. I love it. It's cartoony but detailed. It's just one of my favorite books that comes out, and I get the hardcovers. Volume 6 was just announced, and we finally get Mikey on the cover. Volume 6.
I'm so behind, dude. I gotta pick up the rest of those books.
They're great. I love them. Yeah. I can't recommend those enough. One of the ones that I was kind of surprised about, and I got it because Riley picked it up. I wasn't going to get it, and then when I was in Vegas, I was flipping through it. What's this?
Oh, okay.
Okay, first of all, back there, those are, I don't know if you can see, those 4 fucking giant shelves of giant robots. Those are Megazords. I like giant robots. I grew up in Peru. You know, I couldn't afford those toys when I grew up down there. I never liked Power Rangers. I vaguely liked the Sentai stuff that Power Rangers is based on. But my kid brothers would watch Power Rangers, and I would make fun of it going, how can you guys dig this? They're just using Japanese footage with like horrible American actors. They're splicing the footage. This is not going to go anywhere. I was wrong. It became a huge phenomenon, right? Huge. So when Boom started publishing their comics, I thought they were just cashing in on, you know, what IDW does with Transformers and G.I. Joe and Turtles. I wasn't expecting Kyle Higgins to actually deliver a damn good story. Because like I said, I was working in Vegas. I went to a comic book shop with Gabe. I think he went to go take a crap somewhere and left me at the comic book shop. So I started reading, and the first chapter intrigued me. Because one thing about the show was the characters were very one-dimensional, and they were practically the same character, just delivering lines in different bodies. But each one of these characters is interesting and different. And he introduces a new character that's kind of a badass in this. And I don't want to reveal who it is in case you haven't read it, but it's a new Evil Ranger. And the thing about the hardcover is all this is nothing but the variants. Like, we're talking like 50 pages of variant covers.
Oh, yeah, they went nuts on the variants, especially for number 1. Number 2 just had killer amounts of variants.
Because this is just the first year collected. This is just issues 0 through 13, I believe. But all of this that I'm showing you right here is nothing but the variant covers.
That's a beautiful book.
That's gorgeous. I think it was 75. But I was pleasantly surprised with how good the story was and how deep I dived into it. I think I read it in the span of less than a week. I really liked it. The goofy stories in the back, the side stories, they're okay. But the main storyline was actually kind of badass. Like I said,
Well,
I've never been a big fan of Power Rangers, the TV show, but this book got me. It was
the
awesome.
writer Kyle Higgins is a huge Power Rangers fan.
Well, he did he used
got
to do
passion too.
Nightwing, wasn't it?
Yeah, he did Nightwing. He did Batman Beyond.
That's right. Yeah.
Like his own. He does movies. He's made like a movie or two as well, and things like that. But he's a fairly accomplished writer, but he just has that knowledge and that passion and just that kind of just intrigue of the Power Rangers universe. That he brings it hard. And I know that this takes place. It's still the storyline of Power Rangers is like when the Green Ranger shows up, he's evil, and he's only evil for like a couple episodes or something like that. But in the book, they actually expand on that like a lot more. Like this is this huge backstory and just more.
The character, like I always heard stories from my friends that are Power Ranger fans that the bad guys were kind of dumbed down because the network was like, no, this is a kid show. Yeah, they don't hold anything back in this. It's quite awesome. And to wrap it up, you might have seen a trend here. Transformers.
Yeah, yes. IDW wins. They got the best hardcovers.
Oh my god. I can't say enough about how good these fucking Transformer IDW Phase 2 books are. They are completely amazing. They're on Phase 3 now, but I've been reading them in hardcover, and it's another one that I kind of read digitally because I can't wait. It's some of the best stories ever written that just happen to feature your childhood transforming robots. I can't describe it any other way. Like, the fact that it has toys from your childhood should not keep you from reading some of the best stories written in comic book format in this genre, because they are awesome. Because the writers are doing things that I didn't think could be possible with characters that we grew up with, right? Like the whole gender thing comes up in this, where there's no female or male robots. It's just the way that we kind of got used to them because of the TV show, right? I mean, RC was the only like bangable robot because she was a female. But in this, it's like characters build relationships, not because they're male or female, but just because they happen to like each other. It's pretty interesting. I really like it.
There's even gay Transformers too, right?
Well, that's what I'm saying. They're not gendered, so they're not really gay. Oh, okay. Whatever.
No, I don't know.
It's fucking badass. I don't care if they're gay or not. They're still badass. But yeah, there's betrayal. There's awesome fighting and just badass artwork. And this particular volume 6, collects the Dark Cybertron storyline, which was a 13-issue crossover between the two books. Yeah, I love this guy's artwork right here. It's awesome. This painted stuff. But yeah, this is definitely my favorite independent book of the year. That I don't see. It doesn't really get a lot of love because, like I said, it's people look at it and they're like, "Oh, that book's for kids because it's transforming robots." They're fucking wrong.
Or people also look at it as being like a licensed product too. People really have this like stigma against licensed products.
Right. Same thing could be said about Ninja Turtles and things like that.
Or Mega Man, like those books are fantastic, but they just think they're crap because they're licensed.
Right. But that's it, guys. That's
nice.
I went with my childhood more than I did with epic storytelling as far as like independent books.
Oh, that's what you meant by epic storytelling. Okay.
Yeah, you guys went with the good epic storytelling. I went with more of my childhood. And then, of course, my Don Rosa box set 7 and 8 have not gotten here. Or I'm sorry, 7 and 8 have not gotten here yet. They should be here next week, I believe, is when it comes out. So I'm really excited to get that. And we have one more box set, and that sadly finishes out the Don Rosa years of Scrooge McDuck and Donald Duck.
Nice. Well, this was good. We all talked about great books.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to pick up some from your guys' list. That's all. Well, I already own all the books that Gabe has, basically, except for Fourth World. I'm going to watch your review and see if I cave.
On Fourth World?
Yeah.
You're going to get it, dude. You know you want to.
But the thing is, man, I'm a post-crisis guy, right?
Yeah.
My DC universe is not until after Crisis on Infinite Earths. it doesn't keep me away from reading. I mean, I tried, like I've told you guys in the past, I've tried Golden Age, I've tried Silver Age, like the Justice League, Teen Titans. But I don't know. I just maybe that kind of storytelling was not for me. It's not that it's hokey or anything. It's just I just didn't particularly like it. So yeah, I'm gonna watch your Fourth World review and see what I think. So the older I get, the more I enjoy Jack Kirby's artwork. Did he bounce?
Yeah, I'm sure we can do a whole story. I mean, a whole show on that omnibus. You want to take questions for 5 minutes?
Sure. Yeah. Since Gabe maybe went to go take a crap again.
Gabe?
I think he went to go take a crap again.
There was a question, what happened to Riley and Luis? That's a legitimate question. Riley has had family issues. Everything's okay, but he's just had family obligations. He's been on vacation, then family obligations. So he's still with the show. He just wasn't able to. He popped in earlier, but he had to make dinner tonight and things like that. So he just couldn't do the show. And Luis is just on extended break. He's reassessing what he wants to do video-wise, and he's just on extended leave right now. So all is okay with him. He's just taking a break from the show for a while. So anybody have any questions out there you want to ask the Omnibros? Gabe's back now.
Sorry, I had to piss. I don't want you guys to hear me pissing.
Oh, okay. I was close. I said you went to take a crap.
Took a crap out of my wiener.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
All right. So you guys want to open it up?
Yes.
Questions. Okay. Will Jeff the Drunk be gone from Starwind show first?
Stern
I think
show.
that was. Oh, Stern. Howard Stern show. That's
Yeah.
okay. Will there be a fourth season of Twin Peaks? I haven't even seen the third season yet. Have you guys watched it? I was a big fan of Twin Peaks.
Dude,
I
I
haven't watched it.
Oh, okay.
I watched the first couple episodes of the second season and just gave up. That show was just agitating after a while.
Was it too pretentious for you? Was Lynch too smart for you? Is that what it was?
It's anytime you have like a murder mystery as like your series and you don't solve the killer in the first season, then fuck you. It's terrible. That shit.
I dug it. For the same reason I like Lynch's weird shit. But I have not seen the third season. Somebody was asking if we read digital comics and what do we. I use my Surface. It's my favorite thing to read when I have to read, like when I'm traveling on an airplane.
Nice.
I used to pack a lot of my omnibuses around, and then I think I dinged up my, was it my Daredevil? Might have been my Elektra, and I'm like, oh, no more. You're staying home. I'm gonna go digital when I travel now, because I don't mind,
Yeah, I use my iPad. It's a great way to read books electronically on these things.
Like I can't do it as long as when I read a book, but
Right.
it helps when I'm on the plane or traveling somewhere. And since I travel a lot, it makes it nice just to have it all there, my library of like, oh, what am I reading today? Yeah.
You must have a lot of freaking flyer miles, dude.
Yeah, you must.
I do. It's nice when I get vacation, I get to rack that up, and then the hotels and stuff like that. It's nice, but I miss being home.
That was so much fun.
Yeah, I mean it's good. I try to pass it off as much as I can because I really miss being at home. I miss being with my kids when they have plays and stuff like that I can't be a part of. My wife has to do it herself, and then sometimes like when I come home from Vegas, I'm still drunk, and then my wife is tired because she's
my fault.
My wife is tired because she's been at home with 2 kids, and she's ready to hand them off, and the last thing she needs from me is me going, oh, I can't take care of those kids. But anyway, all right, let's get some more questions answered. Sorry, guys.
Walt Simonson's Orion Omnibus. I haven't read it, but I've heard great things about it. I know that.
Will the Transformers IDW HC going out of print? So many books to pick up. I I will say that these books go in and out of print. For a long time, Volume 3 of Phase 1 was out of print. Then it came back, Volume 7, Volume 6. IDW actually keeps their stuff coming back into print. They're not like the big two, where if something goes out of print, it goes out of print until they decide to reprint it. Of course, these are also smaller books, too. They're not big omnibus formats, but they're really good about putting things. And they keep an eye when things go out of stock on Amazon.
Tyler Blunt, who is your favorite X-Man and why is it X-Man? Why is it X-Man? Is there an X-Man?
X-Man is one of the best X-Men ever.
Oh.
Why is your favorite X-Man and why is it X-Man?
My favorite X-Man is Magic. I love her. She's awesome.
I love Maggot. We've talked about that before.
Oh yeah, we have talked about that.
Ooh, can never
Other
say
than Maggot, I have to go with Jamie Madrox.
The Multiple Man. I love Multiple Man. He's awesome too.
Yeah, Madrox is great,
especially when Peter David writes him. You know,
especially like the PI stuff, like that whole Madrox and the PI agency and the whole stuff with like M and Pharaoh and all that stuff was great. In that,
I love everything in that book. Everything in that book was
everybody had a baby in that book. You knew something bad was going to happen.
I remember, this is why I always say I think Bendis is a good idea, man, but some of his ideas were never well executed. I remember when House of M was coming out, he's like, oh, everybody watch out for Layla Miller. She's going to be the best thing ever. So everybody was expecting like a Layla Miller comic book. He dropped her, like he never used her again. And then Peter David was like, I'll take her. And he made her awesome. I love Layla Miller. And Peter
her relationship with Madrox is
Madrox. Oh, and that whole storyline during, was it Second Coming? Or were they... Oh no, it wasn't. It was Messiah Complex, where they travel to the future. Oh, so good! Yeah. What a great series.
They hate each other at first. She kept saying, "We're gonna love each other," and he's like this little girl, and it was all creepy for a little bit, and it ended up becoming like a thing.
So my favorite X-Men has always been Wolverine. Always.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He is just, I mean, he's just a badass. He's the best there is at what he does. When he's not written by Charlie Hudson, is that who wrote him? I just remember there was a comic book in my review of the comic book. Oh, it was that's what it was. It was Wolverine, the best there is, #1. And all I remember is Wolverine.
Oh, you mean the stuff by Juan Jose Rip?
Yeah. And he cut like a girl's hair. Like he cut a woman's hair with his claws, like Edward Scissorhands. And I was like, what the fuck am I reading? This is.
Well, no, he went to that club and got like drugged up by like, atmosphere and stuff. Yeah. The story was terrible, but man, the art by Juan Jose Rip in that thing was amazing. I love that guy's art.
Let's see. Someone earlier asked, what are you looking forward to most coming out in 2018 for Omnibus? I'm looking forward to that. There's two. One's a Venom Omnibus, and the other is the Carnage Omnibus. Yes, I want to read all that I can. I want all the symbiote stuffs.
They need to put out a fucking Maximum Carnage like hardcover or like premium format book. How is that thing not collected in some kind of like?
That's just in trade right now.
It's just a trade. There's never been a hardcover or anything like that. But Maximum Carnage deserves something like that for sure.
I've always loved Carnage. I think he was a better Venom than Venom. Because, by the time Carnage came out, Venom was a lethal protector. So they kind of like neutered Venom's character to me. Because I always liked the Venom that eats brains, the Venom that was out to kill Parker. And then out of nowhere, Venom was saving babies. And I'm like, no thanks. I like my bad guys to be serial killers with one-dimensional characters.
And was like super weird about that stuff as well.
Well, that was years later, but by the time, dude, that line that Carnage delivers when he first appears, when he's killing that guy, and that guy's like, "Why are you killing me?" And Cletus Cassidy's just like, "Because I can." I was like, "Oh my god, this guy's badass." I love that. I love that character.
I can't think of something else this year.
I'm excited about the Weapon X Omnibus because it kills Maggot. And
hey.
And I'm actually really excited about the second Jason Aaron Wolverine Omnibus to finish out the Jason Aaron Wolverine run. I never thought
I'm a Jess. I want the Venom and the Carnage, Miles Morales Ultimate Spider-Man Omnibus. That was great.
Now, is that the Miles Morales complete collections put into omnibus form?
That's every
Yeah,
Miles Morales.
The pre-Secret War stuff, yeah.
Okay.
What else? Infinite Crisis, I guess. I might wait on that. There was a few other things I swore I can't remember right now that was announced, and I was like, "Wow, that's a big surprise! Never thought that would come out as an omnibus."
Runaways is coming out as an omnibus, and
Ex Machina, that came out of nowhere. That came out of nowhere. I'm excited for that.
it's Brian K. Vaughan. I kind of expected that, honestly.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's fake. You know, DC's really good about cashing in on their stuff. His stuff.
Well, Runaways, I have the oversized hardcovers. I'll just keep that. I want to upgrade to the omnibus, I think.
I'll probably upgrade. Like I kept my Daredevil, but I really like that story, so I'll probably upgrade.
You guys been watching the Hulu series for?
I've watched the first
Runaways?
4 episodes,
Oh,
and
yeah?
I wish
Is it good?
I like the character so far. I just wish it was less about the parents and focus more on the kids. But
I was going to say that.
I've only
It's a
seen
lot
the
more about the
first 4 episodes, and
yeah, it's a lot more about the parents than in the book.
right. And I'm like, come on, the show's called Runaways. Let me see the kids. Like I don't.
But
Like, there was a whole episode devoted to the parents.
in this series, the Runaways are about like the sacrifices and stuff. It seems like.
And then Morrison's Batman was the big shocker for me.
Oh, that's right. That's another one. Yeah.
I never thought we would see one, and we're probably going to get 2 next year. So I'm excited about that. Let's see.
And I'm still holding out for a Transmet Absolute Volume 3 next year.
It's coming. It's coming. Somebody reassured us the last time we were on, right?
Yeah. I'm still looking forward to Death in the Family Absolute and American Vampire Omnibus next year or soon.
That's right. You got the scoop on that from the man himself.
Word.
Jesus. John P. John P, I got the answer for you. Cheap, good bourbon, 2 words. Eagle Rare. Cheap and it's delicious. Delicious bourbon. We used to make it at Buffalo Trace, and it was chill filtered like their Hancock and what was the other one that they had? Blanton. But it was on the cheaper side. They only use 7-year-old whiskey instead of 10 and 15-year-old. But it's so good. Sorry. Anyway, somebody brought up.
He's from Kentucky, so he knows his bourbon.
I worked at the distillery for 5 years, so I remember.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. What do we think Hick Venger's Omni Volume 2 contains? Don't we know the answer to that? Isn't it in the...
Yeah, it's everything but Secret Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not, what was it called? Avengers World either. That's not going to be in it either.
Oh, man. Mr. Betty Ford, I would love a Black Sad oversized omnibus or library edition. I would love that. But I think he's pretty slow at publishing stories, right? Because they've only done the first 5 here in America. And I think the 6th story just came out.
Oh, there's 5 Black Sads?
Well, remember, Volume 1 contains 3 stories.
Oh, okay.
And then there's Volume 3 and 4. I'm sorry, 2 and 3, which are the other ones, yeah. Because he releases them so slow. I wish that once they're all released, they would do an absolute or library edition.
Somebody's asking what's our worst books for 2017.
Worst books.
Yeah,
I will elbow drop you. I swear to God.
What's that?
What? If we say what?
If you said Nightfall.
I'm not going to say Nightfall. I'm trying to think of if the books that I poured root beer on were released in 2017.
Do you really?
Yeah, I poured root beer on a couple of books.
We were joking about buying you Nightfall Volume 2 just to watch you pour root beer on a $100 book.
I poured root beer on The Astounding Wolfman from Kirkman. I hated that book.
I wasn't a fan of that book either.
Oh my gosh, I hated that book.
Hate's a strong word, but yeah, I wasn't a big fan of it.
It was a big, beautiful hardcover that just had the lamest story, and I poured Barks root beer all over it, the worst root beer I could find.
You know, actually, I read a book this year that you guys probably loved. A lot of people really liked, including my brother, and people that, I usually share the same taste in comics with. And my wife bought it for me. and I felt so bad. She bought it for me for my birthday, and I did not like it. Was Black Hole?
Oh, by Charles Burns?
Yeah, I thought it was, honestly, I thought it was okay. I just didn't give a shit about the characters. I like the concept. I just, the sexual transmitted disease. I get it, but I think there are other stories that have been done with that same concept, just better. But I didn't like it. I would say
didn't really care for Outcast either.
that's the other Kirkman book, right?
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah.
Well, we all know Kirkman's done nothing well besides the first few issues of Walking Dead. That's we've come to that.
What about Invincible?
I mean, other than Invincible, yeah.
Okay.
Irredeemable Ant-Man was garbage. We don't need to go on that tangent again, but yeah.
Thief of Thieves.
I just lost John P's respect. Black Hole is so good. What the fuck? Yeah, sorry, man. I couldn't get into it, dude.
He's drunk.
Yeah, DC is releasing a Gotham City Sirens omnibus. It's called Harley Quinn and the Sirens or something.
It is. It's Harley Quinn and the Gotham City Sirens.
Right.
You had it. Kirkman is incredibly overrated. I will have to kind of agree with that. I know
agree with that.
He's a Kentucky boy, but I never liked any of his Marvel stuff. Like, he can't write mainstream super. And I'm sure it's hard to write mainstream superheroes, but he couldn't write any of those characters at all. And the books that I like from him, Walking Dead and Invincible, are fun. I wouldn't really describe them as great or good. They're just fun books. They're fun because the cast is constantly dying in Walking Dead, so I kind of like that concept that I get to find someone else. And other than like people that I cared about in Walking Dead, like Tyrese and Michonne, I don't really care about any of the Andrea in the comic book. I just didn't care about anybody else. So I can see why people think he's overrated.
Jerry Glasso not agreeing about Invincible.
What?
The love for Invincible is unbearable. Yeah, people get crazy over Invincible, but I think it's a fun book. I'm not gonna down it. It's just not great, or But I don't know. Worst book of 2017. I try not to buy books. I usually let Jess buy shitty books and watch his reviews. Watch his reviews on his channel, and I'm like, oh man, I'm glad I didn't buy that piece of shit.
He baits me into buying books and then toboggans after me and doesn't do it.
Oh, you know what? Nah, never mind. I already got it.
What was that? What was that? Master Kung Fu? The one with all just like text. It's all just text in the omnibus.
What is it?
No, you mean the black and white? Hands of Kung Fu, the black and white magazine.
Yeah, it's all just the. No, I didn't pick it up, but that. From what I heard about it, if it's just reprinting magazine articles, fuck that noise.
There are articles in with the comic book, yeah.
Yeah. Or even like the Monster Bus that's like, like a $15 omnibus right now or something like that.
Extremity. I don't know Extremity. A couple of guys saying how good it is. I don't know anything about Extremity.
Has the word extreme in it, so you know it's going to be good. Rob Liefeld's Extreme.
Explain about American Vampire. Well, Gabe has the scoop on American Vampire.
Yeah, there's a omnibus coming out.
And you know that how? How do you know?
Scott Snyder told me so.
Right.
See, call you at night, put you to sleep, tell you bedtime stories.
That'd be creepy because that guy's messed up in the head. Like, he gets a lot of weird, creepy books or creepy stories and stuff.
Oh, okay. Well, good, man. I'm glad that we're getting one. I've been waiting to wasn't one of the hardcovers impossible to find?
Yeah, it was like 4 or 5, one of them like that. And
I think 5 is hard to find.
But is it finished?
Yeah, they're doing like a second series as well. Yeah, and I did say there is a Death in the Family Absolute coming out.
There was a really good question earlier. It was like, what hardcover or story has not been collected that you want collected? I think it was something like that.
Oh yeah.
Ah, damn it, I missed it. It was like one of the first questions too, but we started talking about Carnage and
It was, yeah, it's what you said it was. What hasn't been omnibized that you'd like to see omnibized?
oh, Omnibus. Yeah, New
What
Warriors.
material? No,
New Warriors Volume 2. Oh, I have so many. New Mutants Volume 1, X Factor Volume 1, New Warriors Volume 2.
Yeah, I agree with X Factor. X Factor Volume 2, the PI stuff. Silver Surfer.
Oh, that would be great too.
Yeah, the Steve Englehart Silver Surfer stuff. That whole Silver Surfer run would be great as an omnibus or multiple omnibus. Captain Marvel, the Peter David Captain Marvel stuff would be fantastic as an omnibus as well.
I would love that too. That would be great. And Eric said he'd love an X-Force Omni by Yost and Kyle. Actually, I would like a new X-Men Omni by Yost and Kyle that leads into the X-Force Omni. That would be great too. Greg Rucka Punisher, hell yeah, that had some amazing artwork. I'm trying to think. Nth Man, I love that shit. Larry Hammond's Nth Man. The Nom.
I'm gonna profit like hardcover or omnibus or something like that from Image. Not only the old like Rob Liefeld stuff, but the new Brendan Graham stuff as well would be great. I want to see that stuff get collected.
Yeah, I'd like to. I mean, honestly, I'd buy just about everything X-Men related in omnibus format. I'm not even lying. Even the shit, as much shit as I throw at Bendis' X-Men, I'd probably buy it in Omni format. And I already
like
own the oversized hardcover. I know, but you like bad stories. But the oversized, I'm just kidding, man. But I like the artwork, and I like oversized artwork. So that's also the thing, right? Whether the story is shitty or not, I end up getting it because I like art. That's why I own the stupid-ass McFarlane Spawn hardcovers, because I like Greg Capullo, Tony Daniels' artwork, and then McFarlane's artwork in it.
I'd like to see Starman get reprinted in omnibus. James Robinson did say that could happen.
A real omnibus, because like that would be great.
Yeah, those things are basically oversized hardcovers, to be honest.
Yeah, kind of like what was it? What's the Legion of Superheroes, the Dark Side storyline.
Yeah, or even a real hardcover Hellboy omnibus would be nice, not this like paperback bullshit they're doing.
I want a Darkhawk omnibus.
I would like to see
don't lie, Gabe would buy it.
Fantastic Four Volume 3 omnibus coming out. Doom 2099 omnibus.
Spidey 2099 would be great. I love Miguel.
Or even X-Men 2099 would be sweet too.
Yeah, they were okay.
Oh, whatever. That's some good Ron Lim art right there, man.
Yeah, that's back when Ron Lim was drawing like 8 books a month.
Yeah.
I'm pretty happy with. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with the things that. Of course, I want a Sugar and Spike hardcover, and that's never going to happen because there's only like 3 people in the world who even know who Sugar and Spike are.
New version, or when they're still babies.
When they're still babies.
Okay.
But Supergirl and Legion of Superheroes Silver Age were what I really wanted to be put in omnibus form, and they have been done. DC's doing a great job on Silver Age, Golden Age, and the Bronze Age.
They're really killing it right now.
That's what real quick. Somebody just mentioned something in the chat that reminded me. Another omnibus I'm excited for in 2018 that really came out of nowhere. Mark Waid Impulse omnibus.
Yeah, it's a good one.
I've never read that, so I don't know.
I agree. I love a Mark Waid Flash omnibus. Shit, I love all that Flash run all the way up until Jeff Johns. I'd love that all collected in Omni format.
I guess the one thing that I would want is what everybody wants, and that's Alan Moore Swamp Thing and oversized omnibus, some type of collection. I'd even take just oversized hardcovers. It doesn't have to be omnibized. I just like something oversized. That's probably the one thing that I still want.
I got the first 2 hardcovers from that, and I would love to get the rest of them.
Oh, well, you're going to probably find a huge box of them in the warehouse.
Yeah.
Maybe. No, I don't know. I think we're in U right now, so we're
Oh,
you've already passed it?
that's where I found all that other stuff I was showing you guys.
And what's the legal stuff with Earth X and Universe X? Why can't they reprint those? Do you guys remember?
I didn't know there was a thing.
I didn't know either.
Apparently, it's some kind of legal thing that's why they haven't done an omnibus yet of that. Because
I was the big hardcover already, so
yeah, that's nice.
Oh yeah, that's the fancy one.
Does that include everything though? Does that include Universe X and Paradise X and all those?
Bitch, I don't know. It should. It's fucking huge as shit.
Probably Green Lantern Corps would be good. An omnibus. The
the Peter Tomasi.
Yeah.
And, what's his name? Patrick Gleason. Yeah, Patrick Gleason was there on that. Yeah, those are awesome stories.
Yeah.
They always get shadowed by Jeff Johns' Green Lantern, but you're right, they were great.
No, this is just Earth X 0 through 12 and 1/2 and X.
Yeah.
And this is limited to 6,000 printings.
Is that the one that came with the big plastic thing with the?
Yeah, I don't have the plastic case, but I just got it like this, but it's still cool. Because it's still like autographed by like everybody in it. It's nuts. I would like a volume 4 of Kirby and that other guy, Fantastic Four omnibus would be nice. Finish that off. Because volume 3 goes up to like what 75 or something, I think.
No, it's like almost in the 100s.
93, yeah.
Yeah, they're almost in the 100s. Yeah, I'd like all that stuff collected. Keep going with the omnibus format. I'd like to see more Batman collected in omnibus format too, like No Man's Land storylines or epic. Like I'm surprised they haven't done like Superman stories too. For such an iconic character,
He doesn't have any omnibus, does he?
Like he's got Death and Return, and he's getting that Exile, which is
that's the one that matters.
Well, it's weird because like Exile takes place before Death and Return to Superman. But if they're doing that, why the hell not start at Man of Steel? Like, why not do John Byrne's run that leads up to Death and Return?
How about a red and blue Superman omnibus?
I'd buy the shit out of that. All our credibility out the window. No, but I'm thinking of stories like, what was the big one with Jeff Loeb? Our World's at War. Yeah. That was a huge, characters died during that storyline. That's why he wore the big Kingdom Come Black S. Black Shield.
Joe Kelly stuff from back then,
Joe Kelly, Mike Wieringo, and Ed McGuinness. Those guys, they all worked on that. That was a good story for what it was. But I'm surprised none of that stuff has been collected in omnibus format.
I have like the X-Men Trial of Gambit. I would love an omnibus of like this Joe Mad era. It would be really cool, or even like
I love Joe Mad, don't you?
I love Joe Mad.
We all did. We all the X-Men 80s and 90s kids love Joe Mad. Well, most of us did.
Even just that, but just like the Steve Siegel stuff, was really good back then with Carlos Pacheco on the art and stuff like that.
Yeah, I had stopped reading comics back then. And then when I went back to reread them, all I remember is Cyclops fighting a murder of crows. Is that right? Is that the run where he's fighting like a bunch of birds are attacking him?
Is that the Austin stuff? I'm not sure.
I can't remember. I just remember T'Challa was on the art.
Yeah, I fell off when the first X-Men movie came out and Claremont got back on, and I just couldn't follow his writing anymore after that. It was just such a different take of storytelling when Claremont got back onto it.
Oh, what's the most confusing omnibus?
As far as mapping, or
the most confusing omnibus to me was the Spider-Verse. Although, was that an omnibus or was that just a collection?
That was just an oversized hardcover.
That was the most confusing mapping ever to me.
Yeah, I gave
that book away.
I love the first page was like, here's the way you should read the book. But the actual book is not printed in that way.
Yeah.
It was like somebody in the collected departments just took all the trade paperbacks and fucking custom bind them himself. That was
Dan
it.
Slott says that he finds it funny that he signs that book, when he signs the Spider-Verse book, that he finds it funny that people give it to him and they have all these like sticky notes inside of it.
That's what mine was all sticky notes of where I was supposed to go next.
He thought that was funny and just completely outrageous that somebody felt that people feel like it's not in the right order and they did it a certain way to not break up the art and like this other kind of just gibberish nonsense.
Didn't even have the first appearance of fucking Spider-Gwen. How are you not gonna have like?
You mean the biggest thing that happened in that series?
Seriously. Anyway.
You like Spider-Gwen. You like her. Look at that.
I do. I just like hating on you, man.
You like it.
I just like hating on you.
I think a Dan Slott, like big time omnibus is way overdue.
I'm surprised we haven't had a superior Spider-Man omnibus either. That's the perfect 3 hardcovers. All you got to do is just put them in there, man.
Yeah. And isn't volume 2? One of those volumes I think is out of print or hard to find right now.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I got them a long time ago as they were coming out because I didn't have.
I missed the boat on that, and I want them really bad, but maybe I'll find them in the warehouse. I don't.
They're good. I was a big fan of his run. I haven't kept up.
That's how they brought back Miguel. They brought back Spider-Man 2099 that way.
Yeah. And he brought back Ben Reilly, or sort of.
Scarlet Spider, whatever they were calling him afterwards.
Yeah, I need to read that, actually. That's Peter David writing Scarlet Spider. So is that all the questions? Is that it? Did we get to all of them? Can't.
Superior Spider-Man Volume 3 is out of print. Superior Spider-Man Volume 1 is out of print.
I know one of them is because I tried ordering it for somebody and I couldn't get them 2.
Oh, you're right. Superior Spider-Man Volume 2 is way out of print.
Yeah, there's one of them that's super out.
So all 3 of them are out of print?
Yeah, but 2 is especially pricey on Amazon.
No, I know I can get 1 and 3 then because I know I just got them for somebody. But I knew there was 1. It just wasn't even in the diamond system anymore.
Man.
Meant the most unexpected Omni. That's funny.
Most unexpected Omni? Oh no.
Superior Foes is. I liked it. It's short.
I love Superior. Yeah, I love Superior Foes.
Nick Spencer. Oh my God. Oh yes, Hitman.
And that's Stanley Lieber on the art, dude. Yeah.
Hell yes. Hitman Omnibus. That is a fucking underrated book.
Yeah, that's a great call.
I would like more ABC stuff. More ABC stuff like top 10 would be. Oh, not top 10. I'm sorry. Tom Strong.
Oh yeah. Love.
I would like a like 90s Image omnibus. I know we're getting a Wildcats absolute, but I would love to see like a Shadowhawk or a Cyberforce, or even like a Pit and Max omnibus would be fucking badass.
I don't know, Gabe. Like I like art, but that's
go on, dude. Go on, no, come on.
I mean, maybe if it was like $25 and I get like 50 issues.
For what? Which book are you talking about?
Any of those fucking books you just mentioned, they were all. Really
I'm getting that Wildcats omnibus 81, son.
I'm getting it for the damn art, but that's it. That story is so stupid. Wildcats. The only Image book that I really enjoyed at the time when they were all coming out was Savage Dragon. I loved Savage Dragon.
Oh, dude, Savage Dragon deserves an omnibus too, but I think
he did those black and white. He did those black and white archives, I think.
Yeah, but he said like there's something up with like they lost the files, or the files are just really bad or poorly archived, where you can't really get the first I don't know. They say the first 50 issues are just impossible because just the backups are terrible on them.
And Philip Evans, the Max is getting sort of an omnibus.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, but it's a softcover omnibus. IDW really started the push on that one. So, they've been remastered, right? The Max has been remastered with new colors. And
I have the first book, I think, of...
If you've got it, you should show it off because it's got new colors in it. And they've been releasing them.
Don't tell me what to do.
All right, my bad there, Napoleon.
I'm going to do it, though.
So they've been releasing them in hardcover. So they announced like a few months ago that they were doing an omnibus. They're called compendiums in the IDW universe. So everybody's excited until they all saw that it was a soft cover. Then everybody's
no, dude, I was disappointed as well.
I was like, really? How are you gonna tease us like that? That's what I haven't bought any of those because I was waiting for an omnibus.
No, it's not going to happen. And there's a lot of these. There's like 6 or 7 of these little hardcovers, but it's all new art on the cover by Sam Keith, which is what that's what drugged me into this. Is that the new artwork by Sam Keith?
I've always been a Sam Keith fan, and no, I have not read the new Savage. I haven't read Savage Dragon in probably over 20 years.
No,
I have no idea if it sucks or not, but.
Yeah, the coloring on this is great though. Like you're right, the new coloring.
So that should definitely be in like a hardcover omnibus.
Yeah.
It's solicited as a soft cover. Leave it to IDW, to buy 50,000 licenses and wonder why nobody buys every version of their book.
Well, even though I'm not taking part in all the great Stern Show references in the chat, I love it. I love Howard Stern. I love all these references. These are great. We've been on for 2.5 hours, and
holy shit!
2.5 hours, and we still have 37 viewers. That's pretty good.
Didn't we break up these shows into 2 episodes so they wouldn't be 2.5 hours?
Yeah. We were supposed to be like an hour a piece on these shows.
Yeah, no kidding. Wait, what happened? My wife, when I went upstairs to get those books, my wife was like, "Wow, y'all went for a long time. That was almost 2 hours." I'm like, "No, we're still going."
That's how much we love each other and everybody in the chat.
Please review a new issue of Savage Dragon. Really? I may read it. Actually, I take it back. The last time I read a Savage Dragon book was that big controversial issue where God and Satan are fighting. Do you all remember what I'm talking about? Back in the 90s?
Is that the Fuck God episode? Or
no, it was God like beating the shit out of Satan, and God says, "Don't fuck with God." And people lost their minds. That was the last issue I read, and it was I mean, tongue in cheek.
No, right now, apparently, like I was listening to 11 O'Clock Comics, and they were saying how the newest issue is just super sexual.
It always kind of
Dragon.
Yeah, Savage Dragon. Like
I've never read it, so I don't know.
Dragon's been gone for a while, and it's his son Malcolm, and he's banging out his girlfriend, and he like shoots his wad that flies her across the room, and she lands like upside down on her back with her legs kind of like hunched over.
Jeez.
And she's dripping like stuff out of her, like all on the page. And it's not only is it dripping, it's like dripping in her mouth. And then he kisses her, or she kisses him.
Yeah.
Oh, stop, man! You're making me hard. I mean, gross. No, I haven't. Like I said, I haven't read Savage Dragon since like I guess that issue with Gods. It's weird. Eric Larson's still writing it, huh?
No, he's only hit that 300 pretty soon. I mean, it's like 230.
I guess he's the most consistent image writer, though, right? Him and McFarlane. Is McFarlane?
Well, McFarlane doesn't do anything, dude. Whatever.
He still co-writes it, right? Or does the cover, maybe?
Bullshits it.
Yeah, probably. All right, guys, you want to call it a night? Is that it?
Yeah, I've hit the wall here. I'm exhausted.
We wore him out. All right.
Yeah, let's end this 2.5 hour epic of the best of 2017. Gabe, where can they find you?
You can find me here on YouTube as Gabe Infinity Watch. As I said earlier, I did do a spotlight review on the new Jack Kirby Fourth World Omnibus, so you can take a look at that. It's a beautiful book. You can also find me on Instagram at Gabe Infinity Watch and on Twitter as Gabe Infinity. So hit me up there.
And Omar, do you have your cardboard sign? Where can they find you?
Look at this fine sign. They can find me at Near Mid Condition. That is the name of my channel. We have a new episode every Thursday, so you could more than welcome to watch before you watch this awesome show with us. And you can also find me on the Facebook group, the Collectors, Omnibus, and Sell, Swap, whatever the hell I'm in. Wherever these two guys are in. That's where you can find me.
I forget.
And I'm OmniDog. You can find me at OmniDog's Vault on YouTube. And I am going to come up with a What's that other social media thing?
Tinder.
You won't find me on Tinder.
No, Grinder.
Grindr.
I should have gone with Grinder, but I gave him
Instagram. Those are both good ones, though. Instagram. I'm working on that with my daughter.
Yeah, it's the AARP.com.
So
Zipper
OmniDog's
Daddy.
Vault, and I'm also in Ryleymo's The Omnibus Collector Comic Swap and Community Facebook page. So thank you for tuning in. Like us if you can right down there. Subscribe to us. We have, how many subscribers do we have now on Omnibroslive?
625.
626.
Nice. So give us a like, give us a comment, and thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it. Peace and love. Peace and love.
Good night, guys.
This is boom.